Thank you, Honorable Kokufu. 1.5 minutes. I think you did it in 1.6. It would be team time in about 1 second. No, 0.1 of a second. What is 1 second? Anyway, thank you very much. Continue to make your questions ready. So, if you hold up somebody will bring the mic to you, and then you can ask your question. But we have one last speaker, and certainly not the least. But before that, I would like to properly introduce a man that is at the forefront of our financial matters in Ghana, a former mayor of Tamale, former deputy minister of energy, MP for Karaga, and a man who's leading our financial charge. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome help me recognize Honorable Dr. Mohammed Amin Anta. Our last speaker, as I said, a very important man, who came in with the Kente dance, Adwa dance, and the Kente ladies. Lovely things to see. Honorable is MP for Afutu and former deputy leader, and now the leader of parliament in Ghana. Please, let's welcome to the stage Honorable Afenyo Markin. Should we time him? Okay.
Good evening to you all. I'm happy to be here, an opportunity to share with you the success story of our own government. High Commissioner of Ghana to the United Kingdom, High Commissioner of Ghana to Canada, Ministers of State, executives of UK, MPP, the clergy, gentlemen and ladies of our country here. Indeed, this evening, you've all spent your time here to know one thing: the facts as we have them in our country. For me, my joy is that in this interaction so far, it's been issues after issues. No opportunity to insult or attack. As part of democracy, when we're entering, we saw some few people also expressing dissent. I said the beauty of it, no attack, we laughed over it, and we are here. But I recall that growing up, my mom was a pupil teacher. My stepdad was a mason and was working with Pomazi Pottery. When I had my admission to St. Augustine's, the problem was how to get to St. Augustine's. It took the contribution of some rich men in an area in Winneba called Low Cost. In Winneba, Low Cost is the area for the upper class. So my friends whose parents were of the upper class informed their parents that one of them has had distinction, but the parent could not afford. I recall my stepdad took a loan from Pomazi, and others contributed to get me there. For 3 years in St. Augustine's, I didn't have a mattress. When I tell the story, people wonder how I survived. I slept on the hardwood. There was no mattress. In final year in St. Augustine's, Pomazi Pottery Business Company had collapsed. My mom was virtually compelled by my stepdad, to add her name to the redeployment list. She was joining 31st December. I recall my stepdad said, no, 31st December or your Rollins. Intimanko join one. So her name was part of those who were to be sent home and given a package. At the time, it rained heavily. All her money was lost through the garage she took from Biposo. There was no insurance, as you may know. So in final year, I was sent home. And in St. Augustine's, before you are sent home, you are given some 6 lashes. I came back home. Then some teachers intervened. I was asked to go back. Then I heard of Parkway Sindom's bursary. He had brought this bursary and said, anybody who is able to break his record in government history literature, that person would have that bursary. So it was a competition. And by the grace of God, through that bursary, I finished school. Now I relate this to many of my classmates who had distinction but could not pursue secondary education as a result of their parents being poor. And this brings me to the mighty free SHS policy that has transformed our country, Ghana, and giving opportunity to the many poor children to have access to secondary education. I'm able to confirm on authority that through this policy, our country now has 1.4 million youth in secondary schools, as compared to the 800,000 we came to meet in 2016. Sometimes when such noble policies are introduced, we take the benefit for granted. But you and I know that for you in the UK today, you are getting less calls for support for secondary education because of free SHS. When free SHS was being talked about, we had our friends, the NDC, who were saying it was not possible at all. In fact, they came out with a song saying free SHS was 419. As part of the free SHS policy, government has expanded infrastructure in all our secondary schools. I say all our secondary schools. I'm here with the facts. So you can just Google any secondary school of your choice in this country, in our country, Ghana, and find out whether from 2017 to date we have seen any addition or not. Then you come back to me and say, Honorable, you lied, or Honorable, indeed, you told us the truth. But I say on authority that every secondary school since 2017 has seen an infrastructural development since the inception of the free SHS. We can check it. Now, when we started the free SHS, there were many calls for the introduction of the same policy for our CODVET, the vocational training arm of our training. So government also introduced the TVET education, free TVET, as part of the free SHS. Not only that, all the 58 TVET institutions have seen massive, I use the word massive, infrastructural development. Our TVETs were abandoned. No classrooms, no desk, no administration blocks, no equipment, machinery for training. Today, you go to each one of them, and I challenge the adversaries of our government. I challenge those who may disagree, and even challenge those of you who are party people, that to fortify you in your debate, please check, Google any of the NVTIs in Ghana. Just call your village, your community where you know that there's an NVTI there, and ask whether there's any addition by way of infrastructure, so that you can know that this government is not a sleeping government. In my constituency, Ifutu, where we have an NVTI, prior to the introduction of the free NVTI education, we had 300 plus population. Today, the enrollment has shot up to 1,300 plus within a short period, meaning that there were many more at home. although we introduced free SHS, because NVTI technical education was not free, they were sitting at home. And you know what? That is the population that poses a danger to our security, because they are idle hands. So if they are unable to acquire skills, it becomes a security problem. The robbery goes on. You have a population that is unproductive and becomes a threat to our future. MPP has solved that problem. Apart from this, our friends, when they were in government, introduced what they called day schools. They introduced a day school policy where they were building a certain number of e-blocks. At the time they left office, for all the 8 years that they were in office, they could build only 27. A government as responsible as ours came into office. They don't abandon that policy. Apart from we building new secondary schools, apart from the MPP administration building new secondary schools, we have also completed 34 more of the day schools. That was just a policy, but nothing was done on the ground. We have done that. So it tells you that MPP believes in development and believes that education is one key way of transforming our country. We didn't say it was an NDC thing. And whilst at it, let me also add that we came to meet, you hear, University of Ghana Medical Center. It's a premier medical facility. Truly, Professor Mills of blessed memory initiated that health project. The phase 1 was commissioned by the NDC before they left office. But the truth of the matter, and if you check, you go to Parliament website and check, the phase 1 that they completed did not make the hospital operational. But they needed a phase 2 to be completed for equipment and medical facilities to be imported and to make it operational. MPP did not say that it was another party in government that initiated it, so it was going to abandon it. President Akufo-Addo came to Parliament through the finance minister to get Parliament to confirm and approve a facility in excess of $240 million to take up the phase 2. Today, I am proud to say that your country also has a premier health facility. We didn't abandon it. Ladies and gentlemen and fellow Ghanaians, let me go to utility tariffs. I'm touching on key social interventions. When we were in opposition between 2013 and 2015, because of the energy crisis, the doomsaw that we were experiencing, the NDC government then entered into several agreements, power purchase agreements, to increase power production. As a result of that, electricity tariffs became very expensive. Now, I want you again to Google some of the words of our former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when Ghanaians asked about the need to reduce electricity tariffs. His words were, the cost of production was very high because we were no more dependent on hydro and were dependent on other sources to produce electricity. It was expensive. Therefore, the only way was to pass on the cost to Ghanaians. These were his words, not mine. And you can just Google President Mahama electricity tariff. Just Google that, 2015. It will produce a result. And the internet would remind you and give you verbatim quotation of what he said. That they could do nothing at all. We were in opposition then when the only petroleum economists we have, Dr. Amin Adam, who is now our finance minister, challenged them and told them that, no, we can do something about it to reduce the tariffs. NDC said, no, we couldn't do it. Ghana experienced the first ever electricity tariff reduction under MPP. Aben bi enyuwa obaya otu electricity do, because aben bi aba electricity no boyezen. Ghana abenya obaya oma electricity no bukrofum between 18% to 30%. Obi koto prepaid otumukada in the moto prepaid ezim nansa nka na to prepaid da krope na prepaid nasa ye MPP aben no kor ye krope o wo da abani ya 100%. Yen MPP aben yen tumukada ya score 100%. Nembom dembre chema huntu miskan no yezo tutu ampara za na ncheza yekitezi oye. So we experienced the first ever electricity tariff reduction in our republic, in the Fourth Republic, under MPP. And again, I've said this in Parliament, I'm saying it here in Croydon, in a church, that those who disagree may check. And for those who are advocates for the party should also check to fortify themselves in their communication. Again, our official folks, yanum pano. Afarfo one hawk kase nye de se ehumutwa one yama ogugor one boa osei one adbo moto osei when you boafo if any bi enyi Ghana okite insurance one awowo yeji one awowo meja nukrom keta one awowo pando one awowo mena nukrom efutu one awowo edina sekunde discof shama na zokeka ho obiara nyi ho a owo insurance aban batsna do abani fido yenya hwe imafarfo yeneja atamos obeye omampanyin no se ozinenyu obohwe afarfo wona hawo nti okobo bosia no okobo ewo Chinese bank a wofre CDB, Chinese Development Bank, CDB. Busian wakobo no 2012. 2012 a wabo da mo busiano. Na what we basi see landing beach sites was ama afarfo. Yen papa Mills. Yankopon frɛ no kra. Yen papa Mahama obeye omampanyin. Yawo parliament, I am the high commissioner waha. Yawo parliament na me finance committee. Yan papa Owusu Ankoma no so no wo finance committee. NDC one finance minister wo friend said tekpe obey osi de bibi wo fa ne capping. Na be say capping na se chreden also ni chrede bose na wo ko boy no or dey wo draw down. But drawing down when we there woruntum into aban region ne priorities, and in choosing the priorities, you know, landing beach in Woyefim, go and check the capping of that CDB facility. Into Woyefim, nature the landing beach project in the Woyefim kra. President Akufo-Addo Obey in the first meeting at the House of Chiefs, Central Region. Nananum was the landing beach as some to name. Obi send there. Omampeyin mana bofu egwana na ebazi nebutuma ye wo huzama hen. Akufo-Addo said he would make sure he gets a facility to construct landing beach for the fisher folks. In there, many can say, I am proud to say, and for you to check, that in Ghana we have 13 landing beach projects ongoing. 13. A cruise where we are commission. Oya Edenazen. Eko discover Birukodo. Eko Mori. Ibirukodo Mori. Mamukrom Winneba. They are almost done. Eko Senya. Eko Keta. I repeat, Eko Keta. Eko Keta. Boko to the landing beach. Orokodo. Eko Jamestown. Boko Koto. As in when you want, each wuchi mo yedene on ye. adeɛ no ɛkɔ so wontumi ngye ho ekyinnie ma ne yɛ yie. It is happening. Nkurɔfo pii akasa dɛ fitika so de kɔ do Winneba Junction. Traffic now yɛ show. And Akufo-Addo why na talk na do na talk na do. Ebe kwa kɔtun wɔyɛ adwuma wɔyɛ highway no fofor na yɛn nyinaa yɛ ho ato yɛn. Yɛn ɔmanpanyin Kufuor ɔze bibi bɛyɛ a wɔfrɛ no school feeding. Yɛn nuanom wɔbɛyɛ wɔba abɛn mu wentum wɔamfa bi anka ho. School feeding also wɔtew do. Ndɛ yɛreka sei and again cross check. Akufo-Addo na abɛn amanziwa a yɛhu na ɔhaw a yɛwɔ mu nyinaa no we make sure the school feeding cover every primary school in Ghana. Please check every primary school. And as it be owa oma atiye bi wo ma wefi ebi a wadwin ba ye ode oh afrobo grandpa woman is ban school mpo no hia mpanyimfo mesra mekade o community obaten bi man ban ko school because onyi sika also to is banaman. Yaka COVID in some the yenyim ena dem yerba a otu wiase nyinara ibika Ghana. Aben bi owa no ntumi ntua adwuma yakfoka. Some government could not honor its obligation to public sector workers. You and I know that there is no single demonstration, no single protest ever against the MPP government for non-payment of public sector workers. Throughout the difficult times, Aben Ejumayefo continue to enjoy their salaries. They continue to enjoy the perks of their office. They continue to get what is due them from government. Umpe way na wope dien. Now yembra yan bambo our security. You know, when there is peace, we take peace for granted. The absence thereof triggers some shake-up in our whole body. When you work, you close, and you are going home, and there's no problem, you take that for granted. We all know, in the past, the many headline news, robbery here, robbery there. Today, your government, in all these difficulties, has transformed our police service, has transformed our immigration service, has transformed our fire service, the prisons, and the military. And more Ghanaians have been recruited within this period than ever in the history of Ghana. Look at the police visibility we have in our country today. It's very high. I live at Abelingpe. From Parliament House to Abelingpe, I will first encounter a police visibility at the main Parliament gate, the West Wing. When I move and get to Ridge, another one. From Ridge, when I get to Kaukudi Junction, I'll get another one. Joulu, another one. Entering Abelingpe proper, I will meet two before getting to Mawako Junction, and I'll turn home. So count the number of police officers who are on motorbikes. We see it, and it gives confidence to our populace. It wasn't the case before we came into office. So nobody can tell me that this government has failed. I'm not saying this because I'm an MPP. I'm saying this as a Ghanaian because I've seen with my two eyes, and at least I can say that comparing the two, we are better. But let me end it with this all-important point. As a political party, we've demonstrated our diversity. As a political party, we've demonstrated our inclusiveness. And we must not take it for granted. And I'll explain why we don't have to take it for granted. Many years ago, Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, they experienced some political challenges. And at the heart of those challenges was the fact that some people felt excluded from the governance of their country. Some people felt that the governance of the country was centered around a certain population. That is not MPP. For MPP, we believe that if you rise to eminence in the party by merit and by your own industry, you get on it. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your religion. And that is why Dr. Bawumia, a Mampushi man, a Muslim, has been honored to lead this great party. Honored because of his hard work. Honored because this party gives equal opportunity. Honored because this party believes in diversity. Since 1957, when Nkrumah got us our independence, history has never recorded a Muslim rising to the level of presidency. History has not recorded a Muslim being given opportunity to hold the flag of any political party. The first political party to give a Muslim an opportunity to hold its flag as its flag bearer, as its leader, is NPP. And since 1992, it is only MPP that has demonstrated through inclusiveness and diversity by always looking at the South and the North combination. Edu Buahini, when he was our flag bearer, had a Muslim from the North as his running mate. The only point where there was a change was in 1996 in the Great Alliance, where through that alliance, Akar from another party and our own J. Kufuor, that alliance brought a South-South combination. But soon after, we went back to our tradition, our roots. And in 2000 elections, we know our brother Aliu Mahama's dad, Alhaji Aliu Mahama, of blessed memory, was a Muslim, a Dagomba man. He was our running mate, became the vice president. And when President Akufo-Addo also had the mantle, he didn't shift from that tradition of believing that in Ghana is a country of all shades of opinion. In Ghana, we have all manner of tribes. In Ghana, we don't have a single religion. So he needed to maintain that. And he did. And today, we proved our adversaries wrong. For those who said that, oh, as for MPP, they are only using Dr. Bawumia, oh, they will never give a Muslim a chance. Today, we have an answer for them. We've proven them wrong. And they themselves have not demonstrated diversity and inclusiveness in the way they do things. They've not. But we who are ever accused, always accused, have proven that we are a national party and we believe that the country is for all of us. So for you as an MPP, the decision to give an opportunity to Dr. Bawumia alone should be a happy moment for you. Because it has redefined the party and proven that our party is for us all. It's not for one person. It's not for one tribe. And I recall that in 2012 thereabout, when I was campaigning, there was this Wache joint. I was always visiting. And Mukohonuma, I'm a brewebi or friend mine on a yeto no Wache. Makacha no mine. About 2 hours also, I want to say, so mine, I was in Yan to Mohon. me also okay always ye benyu nta wo ye boto na wo papa ze me se baazi nta also ye ye nkremofo dama ende party a watch no do am nkremofo ampa onye MPP. I wish there Abuwe Otase, because I think she was only waiting for a day to see there MPP ampara ya do biara nti ende iya krobonyo iya wonenyo iya nzimenyo iya sefinyo iya dagombenyo iya agunenyo iya ifafrenyo ewe MPP monkotinza enyimde se iye adwuma zina embribi boso ma wahye wenyimnya enti muzika sa na abena wieye no za muzi gye hon nyara anyi de maye ntete yene nuanom NDC fo won sembi a wobaka wo parliament dem wo maka che hon de since a wo fi abenim 1 year azusunku bi a motu maka de wasisempo one flag bearer woki tender da on honor na wasn't nam kukrudu one MP sana yenyi what parliament na amembun won hudun wa one minister sa na won hu amembu no don nwa na wakati radio do asofufu biara mfi NDC mbayo aye de sebe besie bi wakwa awar na benyin wa promise there Messi dankra mezamo ate wentum wensi awoje yaba benyin foforo aba anye ye kra no wesi dankra na benyin dada no we be jan orutwempoa na eje yawari besi benyin obey nya dankra na no so we samo na wobi so da na wo kọ awara no itu mesi dankra Kukrudu, you had a beautiful wife. You promised just a studio apartment. You didn't, not even 2-bedroom apartment, a studio apartment. You could not. Another man comes. She's in a new marriage. No matter what, that new husband has been able to put up a chamber in a hall. They are managing. Then you, this ex-husband, you meet the woman at the market and say, oh, this man, he couldn't do it. What has he been able to do? I can do better. I can do better. So divorce and come again. Aha. Oje adie ye oje yerusa afo nia aseno na oje noje hallelujah oje adie eje oje yerusa afo nia aseno na oje noje Jesus refresh ewo Jesus refresh ewo nia aseno na oje noje ndembe yemia sami ukuken za asenu odefunara offer no kwan bi do waye ni what's that one 57% while was up 52% ogudaro kofom MPP yakaka yen ho ye be yen kukrudu thank you very much. God bless you all.
Yeah, that's it. Majority Leader in Parliament. Thank you so much for highlighting some of the achievements of MPP government. Question time is here. Question time is here. Questions ready. DJ, we would like to take a quick 1-minute music, hot one. Now, after that, before the music, I'd like to recognize, I've seen a couple of people that I need to recognize. I can see our fearful Attorney General of Ghana and the Minister of Justice is here, Mr. Godfrey Adami. Please give him a clap offering. The fearful Attorney General of Ghana is in the house. I can also see a parliamentary candidate for Asutifi South, Mr. Usu Brimpong. Mr. Usu Brimpong, thank you very much for joining us today. I also see my very own former women's organizer, Deputy CEO, Minerals Commission, parliamentary candidate for Achema Wabiaja South, Ms. Shirley Che, is in the house. Thank you very much, Shirley. I thought I saw Mr. Doji Numekavo in the house, who is parliamentary candidate for Sege. Doji is in the house. Okay, so thank you very much for that. Please make your questions ready. If you need to ask or you want to ask a question, put your hand up. There are two fine gentlemen who will come round and give you the microphone, and then you can speak. Hold on a second. We will take a quick interlude before that, and then we'll try and get, if you can direct your question to who you want to respond, probably that will make it easier to get the fair response. It makes sense. Okay, so thank you. DJ, can we have a quick musical interlude? Thank you very much.
Doctor himself is not here. Dr. Amin, my question is about tax amnesty for local manufacturers. Could you please explain or elaborate on any plans to offer tax amnesty specifically to Ghanaian owned manufacturers, and how would this incentivize local production and economic growth in comparison with incentive provided to attract foreign direct investment? And
okay, thank you very much. So I'll take one more and then we can do a first round of response. Is there a microphone over here? What? Right. Do you want to, Kingsley, do you want to be on this side so that Pascal can do that side? So at least. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. My question today is about promotion of local industries, and it goes to Yofi Grant. If anyone else wants to answer, I'll be very grateful. What strategies will be put in place to restrict imports and support local businesses with access to finance and technology transfer and preferential procurement programs? Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. So we've got 4 questions. First question is on health, the diaspora insurance. We've seen a flyer. I'm sure the Deputy Minister of Health is here himself, so he'll probably be the best person to do it. Second question, Kingsley, can we have a microphone on this side, please, if you don't mind? And the second question is gold for oil policy. Nana Kumia is not here, so gold for oil policy, we can get someone to take it. Honorable Finance Minister will take that. And then tax incentives for local industries, I'm sure they link together, and also promotion of local industries through technology finance and procurement. So can we take the microphone, please? Kingsley, can you please, the microphone? No. We need to get a response from Honorable Minister before we move on. So if you hand him the microphone, he will respond, and then we take the next 4.
Oh, okay.
Is responding.
Good evening. The mandatory health insurance is something that was proposed by the Health Insurance Authority. It's something that they are working on it. Health insurance is enjoyed to cover everybody that is in Ghana, as in health insurance. But this is not something that has gone to cabinet. It's not even yet a policy. So this is a proposal that just came. So we just disregard it. I'm sure when the time is up for us to work at it, there will be a lot of stakeholder engagement. We will definitely make sure that everybody is involved. But for now, there's nothing like that.
Well, thank you very much. Can we have a microphone? Oh, okay.
The question was on
promotion of local industries.
Promotion of local industries.
At GIPC, our mandate really is to look for foreign direct investment in partnership with local industries. So what we normally do is when we go out, we take indigenous investors or business people with us. But the real thrust and the real direction of that is in the Ministry of Trade and its partner agencies and the trade policies that we set him to promote local industry. And as you know, it's Ministry of Trade and Industry. What the ministry has done is in itself to put a number of policies in place to support local industries. The recent, what they call BRR, business regulatory reforms, will empower a lot of local and indigenous businesses. And if you look at some of the other policies that are there, like the 1D, 1F policy, it has its own terms and conditions to facilitate indigenous business. The real answer or the real question is that should we now be looking at, and you did ask, should we now be looking at a new trade policy that gives preferential treatment to indigenous businesses? It's a yes and no answer, because as a member of the WTO and having international covenants that you've signed to, including the AFCFTA, the ECOWAS, ETLS protocols, we need to be careful not to ourselves infringe the very policies that we've signed to. So in some cases, yes, especially where it compromises your trade ability to trade, the WTO allows you to put some incentives for local industries or put some barriers there. But generally, it's always a difficult situation. It has to be balanced. The balance in Ghana is that we are much more an importing country than an exporting country and production-based country. We are now moving away from imports into production through the 1D, 1F and the various initiatives that government is putting there. So I believe this question is relevant now, but in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years' time, I'm sure it would have been resolved, because we'll see a lot of local industry now producing for export.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister will take the other 2 questions.
Okay. So the first question, gold for oil. How is the gold trading being done? And so you know that we have huge potential in gold production in Ghana. And in the past, when the gold is produced, whether from the large-scale producers or from the small-scale producers, they exported everything. The dollars that they get from the sale of gold, never all of them came back to our economy, except what we term as the retention portion of the forex. But that was not helping our economy. And so, through the direction of our flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, the government directed the Bank of Ghana to start what we call a gold purchase program, domestic gold purchase program, which meant that we were no longer going to allow the producers of gold to take the gold out, except that they agreed to sell a portion of the gold to us in our local currency. And this was one of the measures we brought in to address the depreciation of our cedi, to strengthen our cedi, so that we trade in our gold in our own local currency, rather than the dollars, the gold going out and the dollars never coming back to our economy, and through that weakening our cedi. You know that if you have to strengthen the cedi, then we must have more dollars in the economy, so that the dollar becomes weaker relative to the cedi. But when your dollars that should come in are all leaving the country, the cedi becomes weaker, because there is scarcity of the dollar in the market. And so to address this, the gold purchase program was introduced. So Bank of Ghana started buying gold from the large producers and also from the small-scale producers in cities. As a result of this, they started building up their reserves. Every central bank has reserves. They were only building dollar reserves, but today, because of the gold purchase program, Bank of Ghana has gold reserves. Countries like the United States of America, UK, they all have gold reserves. So for the first time, we've increased the size of our gold reserves from under 100 million United States dollars to almost 2.4 billion US dollar worth of gold. That is through the gold purchase program. Then we also realized that prices of petroleum products were increasing on the market. And we attributed this to the fact that the bulk distribution companies that brought in the oil, they bought the oil in dollars and they had to sell it on our market, the domestic market, in cedis. And therefore, the dollar price is priced into the domestic price of petroleum products. Therefore, the prices of petroleum products were increasing. But also, because of the scarcity of dollars, the bulk distribution companies usually will use what we call forward pricing. They will say, for example, that if the dollar to the cedi is 10 cedis, 10 cedis, cedi to the dollar today, by the time their oil will come onto the market, they expected that the cedi to the dollar will be, let's say, 15 cedis to a dollar. So they will use 15 cedis to price the domestic petroleum products and not 10 cedis. And so you saw that the prices of petroleum products increasing all the time. And so again, Dr. Bawumia said that once the Bank of Ghana is doing gold purchases, why don't we introduce gold for oil? Which meant that we will buy the gold with cedis. The Bank of Ghana will give it to a trader. The trader will give us dollars. But the trader, we can use the dollars to then bring in oil. Or if you have a trader who will give us oil directly, we will take the oil in exchange for the gold. So in that sense, the bulk distribution companies will no longer go out and buy oil in dollars and bring it into the country and sell to us at prices with forward exchange rate. So that was the policy for gold for oil. And so we have been trading. Bank of Ghana has brokers. They give the gold to, and then the brokers will supply the dollars. The dollars will then be used to build their reserves. Secondly, Bank of Ghana will give the gold to oil traders, and the oil traders will give us direct oil, direct to us, so that we avoid the forex impact on the prices of petroleum on the market. And when we did that, petroleum prices that had increased to 26 cedis per liter went down significantly to 13 cedis per liter. And since then, it has not crossed 15 cedis. It came down from 26 cedis. Since last year, the beginning of 2023, from that time up to now, the price of petroleum have not crossed 15. That is the pragmatism with which the MPP government handles things in the economy. New ideas coming all the time. And through the instrumentality of our flag bearer, we are doing this, and it is helping the Ghanaian economy. The second question was on tax amnesty for local manufacturers. Really, at this time, this stage of the economy, this year, we are unable to grant tax amnesty. Because the budget that we are running was passed in November. And therefore, all the projections for revenue and expenditure already approved by Parliament. And so to grant tax amnesty will mean that we may not be able to meet our revenue target. Because at the time we did the budget, we knew those who had not paid their taxes at the right time, and therefore the penalties they have to pay for delayed tax payment, all of them were factored into the revenue for the year. That is why tax amnesty may not be possible this year, because we need to be able to meet our revenue target and our expenditure target, so we do not move away from the fiscal path that we have negotiated during the passage of the budget. But what does tax amnesty means? It means that if you were to pay your taxes in January and you decided to pay in, let's say, March, you have to pay penalty for the delayed payment of your taxes. So by tax amnesty, we are saying that come and pay the normal tax. The penalty is waived for you. That is what I mean by the amnesty in the case of what we are doing in Ghana. Amnesty could mean other things in other countries. They could say that for those who have not paid taxes for 3 years, we have forgiven you. You won't pay those taxes any longer. Come and let's start afresh. For others, as we have been doing in Ghana, it is a waiver of penalties that you have to pay for non-payment of your taxes for some time. Dr. Bawumia has announced that he will introduce a flat tax rate system, which is practiced in Estonia, is practiced in any other countries. Brings predictability. It's also easy to calculate. Our current system in Ghana is so complex. And as I speak to you, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has asked me to lead a tax reform in Ghana that will seek to the simplification of all the tax laws and regulations in our country. And so we are looking at the tax laws. We want to simplify taxes. For example, it is no longer possible to assess people for their tax liability on the basis of face-to-face assessment. It's no longer appropriate because we found that tax collectors have become too discretionary. And so when they do the assessment, there is some discretion there. And this is why we are not meeting our revenue targets most of the time. We are introducing a faceless tax assessment system under which the tax collector and the taxpayer will not see each other. We are introducing it in Ghana this year so that we can do faceless taxes and people will pay the true value of the taxes they are supposed to give to the state. Because without taxes, we cannot develop our country. We can't develop the country. We will continue to borrow and borrow and borrow ourselves out of the economy. But as our president has said, the Ghana Beyond Aid policy is to ensure that we are able to manage our own economic affairs. As I speak to you, because we've had to go to the IMF, because we are relying on World Bank money, the conditionalities we have to meet sometimes are very hurting. They hurt our people. They say, cut down expenditure. Don't spend in this sector. We have to move beyond that. That is where Dr. Bawumia is taking us to. When he says that when he becomes president, immediately in the first year, he will cut expenditure by 30 billion Ghana cedis. He's not going to cut the expenditure by saying, I won't spend 30 billion Ghana cedis. What he's saying is that he's going to partner with the private sector. The private sector will take over what normally the public sector will do. And the 30 billion cedis will go to the private sector. So we need to empower the private sector by government providing more money to the private sector. The private sector will take over the infrastructure development of our country and government will pay for those services. They are able to manage it, they are able to maintain it, unlike government, where government puts up infrastructure with so much money, you are not able to manage and maintain it. After 3 years, they go bad. And you have to come and do the project again. That is the new policy he's bringing. I'll give you an example about Get Fund. Get Fund, for example, takes money from all Ghanaians, levies, and is to be used to support educational development, including infrastructure development. Now we know that in all our universities, things are commercialized there. People pay for accommodation, isn't it? They pay, just as they do here. The policy on Get Fund going forward will then be for the allocation to universities. Use it and take equity in private investment. In other words, we are going to invite you, the private people, come and build hostels on our university campuses. And Get Fund will put their allocation for tertiary into those projects as equity. Get Fund will no longer build residential facilities. Private people will do. And Get Fund will rather take equity. And that equity will continue to generate money for Get Fund. And so we haven't done the hostels. The money we have invested, we are getting returns on that. And Get Fund can then use that money to support the basic level of education. That is one of the private sector policies Dr. Bawumia wants to bring. And so coming back to the issue of tax amnesty, when he declares tax amnesty, we are yet working on the details. It could be that All those who have not paid their taxes in the past, we forgive you. But that is dangerous for the economy, isn't it? Because when we do that, then people will start defaulting on taxes this year. Because they know that Dr. Bawumia will come and say, I've forgiven you. So we may have to rather work on the penalty side in order to cushion the people of Ghana a bit, so that we can get the revenue this year to be able to meet our development objectives. So I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for those deep responses. We'll take a second round of 4 and then we can wrap it up. We'll take second round of 4 and then we can wrap it up. So, where is Kingsley? So we take Dr. Inkum first, and then this lady has had a hand up for a while. We'll take the lady in green. She's had a hand up for a while. We'll take the gentleman over here. We'll take some from the back. We'll take one from the back. Okay. So, Dr. Inkum, please, your question.
Okay. Thank you very much. My question is directed towards the Minister of Finance, Honorable. My name is Dr. Frank Inkum. We can't really miss all your lectures. I was really fascinated by your explanations. But my question is regard to the enhanced tax compliance. So, what are the plans for the future regarding your ministry, right? Your ministry collaborating with professional regulatory bodies regarding tax compliance.
Thank you very much, Dr. Inkum. Thank you for that. Tax compliance plans for the future for the Honorable Finance Minister. Yeah. Next question, lady over here first, please. Thank you.
My question is to the Finance Minister. I'm Doris.
Hello, Doris.
I was asked to mention my name. Finance Minister, are you listening? Thank you. May I know what you are doing to all those money that's been locked up from those failed or closed banks? It's a very important question, and it's so dear to me because I have a lot of relations who this have affected. What are you doing before the term, this government, what are you doing for us? Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was a hand up from the back. I think it was somebody from the back. Was that you? Yeah. Okay, all right, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to give a story to the background of my question. So by 2020, I went to supervise a project in Lambusi constituency where we invested almost £70,000 into the contract. And as of now, it has not been paid. But I have some friends in the UK who wants to also go and invest into Ghana. But I'm a victim of somebody whose money has not been paid. And now if you look at the rate, it's almost like the money has been reduced to £28,000. So how do I even encourage my friends that yes, it's possible for us to invest in Ghana, and as those who grew up in UK, they want to go back into Ghana to invest. How is there a way around it? And secondly,
go on.
Yeah, and with that as well. As I'm in the UK, who do I speak to? Maybe the finance minister should help us. So that for the 4 years that the money has been locked, we know how to retrieve the money. Thank you.
So you mean the contract money is not paid?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. We have... Was it a government contract? Which agency?
The Northern Development Authority. It was under the Special Initiative Ministry.
Thank you very much for that. One from the back. There's one from, if you let the man at the back speak, and then we can take one more, and we can wrap it up. Thank you very much. Please make it quick, snappy, short. Can we get the other microphone to him, please? That one is not working. Can we get the other microphone, Kinsley? Thank you.
Okay, it was your friend Frank Adam Sifa. My minister na deputy PF free transport and aviation. But the question no sector no. I'm saying na buy na the policy back all this in and so say ko very revival ghananews. Ebe pim name say ko be ne buy no scarcity and me and take grounds the way I not expected. Na dia ye wa ha abruchi ha de ye sofa pa ye airlines na e ba Ghana no price ya omo charge ye particularly Ghana comparative prices from Ghana to Nigeria to neighboring countries the same distance the same price na Ghana omo charge ye 40% higher. Now, person who said ministry no, and I said 24 much ya, a ban no policy beer or fighting for Ghana 40 abruchra airlines in the Ghana route no. I say, baby, or more milk Ghana for no more charge exorbitant prices are. You know, be all can be my to date. Sremoa, you better policy, more day banning manifesto no, near her say. More can be so far because so far now the Aken Canadian until so be can be afa home.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. We'll take one more and then we'll finish up. One more. There's a lady over here, Pascal. I think she had a hand up for a while.
Thank you. My question is about safeguarding issue. Sometimes I find it very distressful seeing on social media where vulnerable children, when I talk about young, maybe under 10 years old, who unfortunately has been sexually abused by adults, and then they will show their face on this social media and sometimes begging money just to take them to hospital for them to undergo procedures to address some of the issue. What is the government doing about it? Because these are very innocent people to address this issue. And I understand that there's social welfare in Ghana, because I think it's very heartbreaking to see showing these children's faces, and then, you know, coming from my background being a Ghanaian, it's a kind of it's even affect them when they get older. So what is the government going to address to do the issue? Because I believe that, and I think that this social media, that they even show these children's face, they need to be prosecuted, they need to close their station, and then these adults, they need to be sorted out rather than from Ghanaian society.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Safeguarding sexual abuse of children. I think the question will go to our revered Attorney General. Question on tax compliance for the Finance Minister. There was also a question of what you do when the money locks up in the banks that are closed or that have failed. And then investment contract not paid, Northern Development Authority. And there was something about Ghana Airways. What contracts have we signed with these airlines who are flying to Ghana? So please, I think the Honourable Finance Minister will take the microphone. Thank you.
So on tax compliance, I already mentioned one of the measures we are putting in place to improve tax compliance. That is the faceless assessment. Faceless assessment. We also trying to simplify the tax filing system, because we think that people are not filing their taxes, and it is because it is not easy. It's complex. You even go to tax collectors to file your tax system, and you are frustrated. there is no education on where people even go. And so we are digitalizing also the tax filing, the filing of your returns, so that you can sit in your room and file your tax returns. That's another way of improving compliance. But also, we've noticed that people do not understand our tax system generally. And some people have differential levels of understanding. And so we have decided that we will have to do mass education on our tax system. This July, I have set it aside as the Tax Education Month. In other words, Tax Sensitization Month, July, every July. I'm going to lead the entire tax staff of our country to the field, moving from company to company, from market to market, to educate people on our tax system and what steps people need to take to pay their taxes, what steps people need to take to file their tax returns. But above all, we have decided as part of the education to mount billboards across the country showing the people what their taxes are being used for. The greatest measure you can introduce to improve tax compliance is for people to know that when they pay the taxes are not wasted. When they pay the taxes, you can account for the taxes they are paying. And so very soon, we have taken videos and photos of iconic projects, key projects that have been done by the government. And we are going to place them at vantage points across the country. Your tax working for you, written all over, so that people know that we don't take the taxes and throw the taxes somewhere. We use the taxes to develop, to provide educational infrastructure, health infrastructure, road infrastructure. So these are some of the measures that we are introducing. But since I have to talk about the utilization of taxes, it is important I also draw your attention to what your government has done with the taxes we have collected so far. I can't give you everything. I'll just give you a few comments on that. Hopefully that will inform you better. Number one, even with the difficulties we are facing today, COVID, Russia, Ukraine war, the whole world suffering from these issues, your government is growing the Ghanaian economy. The Ghanaian economy is growing every day. The NDC says we are not developing, that nothing is happening. And I just want to give you a few figures on what is happening. So in 2022, the size of our economy, what we call GDP, gross domestic product, was 614 billion Ghana cedis. In 2023, the size of the economy was 841 billion Ghana cedis. From 614 to 841 billion Ghana cedis, just 2022 and 2023. If the government is doing nothing, the economy will not grow. And of course, it's not only the government, the private sector is also doing a lot. Those of you who are sending remittances, to Ghana, you are all contributing to this economic growth. During the NDC time, the GDP contracted. 2015, 2016, the GDP contracted. In dollar terms, from $64 billion to $60 billion. What happened with the MPP? We took it from the $60 billion, and by the end of 2023, the size of the GDP was $80 billion. Nana Akufo-Addo and your government added $20 billion to the size of the economy. In fact, this year, 2024, Ghana is going to cross the 1 trillion Ghana cedi mark in terms of the size of the GDP. we are going to take it from 841 billion to 1.2 trillion Ghana cedis. That is an economy that is growing in spite of all the challenges that we are talking about. And this is reflecting in our standards of living. What we call per capita income. If they were to distribute Ghana's money, Ghana's GDP amongst us, how will we share it? It increased. In 2016, it was 7,000 Ghana cedis. By 2018, it increased to 9,800 Ghana cedis. By the end of 2023, it increased to 25,000 Ghana cedis. In dollar terms, we have increased the per capita income from $1,800 in 2016 to $2,400 by the end of 2023. That is an economy that is growing. And so if somebody tells you we are doing nothing, please tell the person to go and see the figures. For per capita income alone, from 1,800 to 2,400, is no mean achievement. Now we come to what we call social interventions. We are not leaving the poor out. We are supporting the vulnerable segments of our society. LEAP, Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty. We've doubled the spending. By 2022, we were spending 197 million Ghana cedis on LEAP, which goes to the most vulnerable segment, our old men and old ladies in our homes who are doing nothing and they need to be supported. This year, we are spending 770 million Ghana cedis on LEAP. Same thing, school feeding program. Last year, we spent 800 million Ghana cedis on school feeding program. This year, we are spending 1.4 billion Ghana cedis on school feeding program. So even with the difficulties that every country is faced with, our government continues to allocate more resources to support the people of our country. And finally, before I respond to the next question, this year, our economy is going to surprise the whole world. Nana Akomia said it earlier when our president said, we know how to bring the economy back, but we do not know how to bring lives back. That was at the height of COVID. He said it. We know how to bring the economy back. Before then, our economy was growing average 8%. And it was one of the highest growing economy in the world. 8%. Inflation was single digit. And the MPP government is credited for having the longest period of a single digit in 2018 and 2019 in the history of Ghana. Our fiscals were contained. We had surpluses. But because we knew how to bring the economy back, we did not know how to bring lives back. We had to pause at a point, and we borrowed, and we spent heavily on COVID. The net effect of the spending we did on COVID was 21 billion Ghana cedis. Apart from spending 14 billion Ghana cedis directly, we lost revenue of about 7 billion Ghana cedis. But I can tell you that this economy is rebounding strongly. We are rebounding strongly, and it's surprising the world. Even the IMF, the World Bank, they are all surprised. Last year, they projected our economy will grow at 1.5%. We grew at 2.9%. This year, in the first quarter of this year, they projected we will grow at 3.1%. We grew at 4.7%. In the NDC time, for 3 consecutive years, manufacturing was negative. Last year, manufacturing was negative for us as well. But I can tell you, in the first quarter, manufacturing has turned positive. And the growth in the first quarter is fueled by industry. Industry alone grew 6.8%. And so there is hope. The manufacturing sector is coming back. We are going to continue to create jobs in addition to the 2 million jobs that we have created already. this economy will grow, and it will grow faster than everybody thinks. By the end of this year, we are supposed to grow at 3.2%, but I can tell you, we will grow at 5% or even more than 5%. This is because of the pragmatic policies we are implementing as a government. And so don't let anybody talk you down. You should raise your head up, and you know that your government is doing the right thing. We are bringing the economy back. Our president said that we know how to bring the economy back, and that is exactly what we are doing. The good news, many projects had to stall, because when we decided to go to IMF, one of the conditions was that Ghana had to do what we call debt operation. We had to go and restructure our debts, because our debts were considered unsustainable. I want to announce, for those of you who are interested in the debt restructuring, which has become Ghana's most difficult problem for the past 2-3 years, we are bringing it to an end. We are bringing the debt restructuring to an end. Last 2 weeks, we concluded negotiation with the official creditors, and we've agreed to restructure $5.1 billion. And I'm telling you, your government is good in negotiation. Of the 5.1 billion, we are going to make a savings of about $2 billion. As I speak to you, tomorrow morning, there will be an announcement that we have also concluded our negotiation with the Eurobond holders, $13.1 billion. And ladies and gentlemen, when we announce it, please read the details. We have negotiated a good deal for Ghana that will save us $8 billion. All this money we will no longer pay. We will have to use it well. And so the president has decided that we will create a special fund like we did with HIPC, so we can direct these savings to strategic infrastructure projects, so we can take our economy to another level. And wait until the announcement. The confidence in our economy is going to come back stronger, because the world is no longer interested in investing in Ghana because of those debt restructuring. After tomorrow, it will be a different story. Watch the cedi to the dollar after tomorrow. Watch the cedi to the dollar after tomorrow. I know you are interested in that story. Let's watch it and see. The confidence will come. The investors will return to Ghana. And the growth trajectory will even become clearer for all of us. So this election is an election for us to win. The NDC can no longer campaign on the economy. Our record is better than their record. On the size of the economy, we've done better than them. On per capita income, we've done better than them. On job creation, we've done better than them. On economic growth, we've done better than them. They say we went to IMF, but it's not easy to be under an IMF program, because we've seen them before. When they were under IMF program, by 2016, they missed all the targets. So far, Ghana has become an example. We met all our prior conditions, and the IMF praised us and disbursed $600 million. We did our first review. We passed all the tests. The IMF praised us. They disbursed $600 million. On 28th of this month, we are doing a second review, and I'm telling you that we are going to pass. We will pass. We will meet all the targets, and the IMF will disburse money. Cedi to dollar again. Watch it. When the IMF disburses money on 29th of this month. So everything we have to do to reset our economy, we have done it. We are not going back. We are going to go forward. And so please, ladies and gentlemen, it started from President Kufuor, who identified the land. It took President Akufo-Addo to come and cultivate the land. It would take Dr. Bawumia to bring the food home so that we all eat and rejoice together. Thank you. Thank you. The question on the money locked out, we are going to pay. I hear leader has engaged you. We are going to pay. We do not take responsibility as a government. Because when people decide to invest in one bank or one instrument or another, government is not consulted. It's an individual decision. And when you are investing, you know that you can make your returns, you can also lose. Even us as a government, when we invest in Eurobonds, the market is volatile. We lose, we gain. And when we lose, we don't blame America or Britain for losing. We are advised before we invest. And so it is important for us to establish that foundation, that government will not be held responsible for the investment decisions of individuals. But this government is so caring. Mistakes were made. People were not well informed. Maybe they didn't know who to consult to be informed or advised. But we also know that the people who are affected are suffering. We heard that some people have died. Some people had to commit suicide. This government is so caring that in the first place, we granted some bailout to all the affected. And I want to tell you again that the president has directed that we do another bailout. So between now and October, we will release 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to the affected people. This will not pay the entire amount, because the entire amount is 4 billion, but we are showing the roadmap. We will do 1.5 billion. Inshallah, Dr. Bawumia will come as the president and we will do all the rest. But as we do it, we are also cautioning you. Just as we have responsible banks, we also have bad banks. You will say that the regulators must ensure that we don't have bad banks. But in every house, there is a Mensa. So we also have to watch out. We have to watch out. Let's study them. Let's assess them. Let's seek the advice of, financial advisors before we decide where to invest and how much to invest. And may God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Finance Minister. I think it's a safeguarding question for our revered Attorney General.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all. Look on the question of how to protect our young women and children against sexual exploitation. And all, largely, borders or measures being instituted by Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. But in terms of prosecution, of course, it falls within my domain. And I must say that indeed prosecution is being vigorously undertaken for all crimes, including matters bordering on sexual exploitation. Recently, if you remember, during the controversy that ensued relating to the young person who had been committed to, the Nungua Traditional Council matter. Swiftly, my office ordered the Criminal Investigation Department to undertake investigations into the matter. Investigations were swiftly conducted, and it was actually a multi-sectoral collaboration between my ministry, the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, as well as Ministry of Chieftaincy, and indeed all the facts were unraveled. And I think that when it comes to sexual exploitation, it goes beyond prosecution. It actually even involves education and empowerment of women. And indeed, I'm happy to say that last year, around January 2023, there was an assessment to the nation's human rights record in Geneva. It's actually a 4-year exercise undertaking of every nation's human rights record. And Ghana scored very, very high marks, not only for its general human rights recognition, but particularly for social and economic measures that have been instituted. And indeed, one major policy that actually ensured that Ghana attained such high marks was the free SHS. The free SHS policy really has had a far-reaching impact, has actually empowered girls and has really also prevented girls from being subjected to this sexual abuse and all that. So I think that beyond prosecution, we must also commend the government for the measures we've taken to empower women, the girl child and all. And I'll say that we should be proud of ourselves. I'll just, after you answer that question, I'll just re-echo the point made by earlier speakers and say that, indeed, when it comes to, as far as I'm concerned, in every facet of national life, the MPP government has outperformed the NDC. Even speaking about my own ministry, when I assumed the mantle as Attorney General in 2021, the ministry had, the Legal Aid Commission, which is under my ministry, had only 4 vehicles. The last of which was acquired in 2006. There's another institution called Council for Law Reporting. They had only 2 vehicles. The last of which was acquired in 2008. And all of it within MPP time. In 2021, by the kind instruction of the President to the Finance Minister to assist me, 91 vehicles were acquired for the Ministry of Justice. Beyond that, the office has had 8 office accommodation challenges for God knows how long. Papa Wiswan Kuma, our High Commissioner, was Attorney General from about 2003 to about 2004. Precisely, that's the year I was called to about 2003. And I visited him when I was SRC General Secretary. I visited Papa Wiswan Kuma in 2002 to pay homage to him. Not knowing in future, I'll be assuming the same seat. So, in order to address the accumulation challenges, the MPP government, with all the foresight and vision that it had, led by Nana Akufo-Addo as Attorney General in 2001, commenced the construction of what we call the Law House, a new office accommodation for those Attorney General. Attorney General, after Nana Akufo-Addo contributed, Papa Wiswan Kuma came to contribute. Right after NDC assumed office in 2009, the project, as we can all imagine, was abandoned. We came back again. My boss, former boss, Goye Kufu, also contributed and all that. By the time I assumed office at Attorney General, the building was 36% complete. Today, the building has been completed and commissioned last week. A building that was started by Akufo-Addo in 2001. It took the same Akufo-Addo again to come and complete it. So I'm saying that we should resist all the lies, deception, and deceit of the NDC. And indeed, that's their stock in trade. And I personally, I can attest to that. You can, yes, we've been around. We're in Ghana, and of course, we've been in UK. My brother who lives in London called me anxiously last time he entered a barber shop. And said, talking about the Attorney General. They didn't know that the Attorney General's brother was next in line for his hair to be cut. And all that. Oh, what's happening? This young gentleman that they admire and all that. But again, the lies, deception, and the deceit of the NDC was at work. And within a matter of 2 days, when we started our cross-examination of the person who was spreading all those lies, you see how the matter is going. Their case has crumbled, as the president will say, case now tonsu. So indeed, we should resist the deception, lies, and NDC. They'll come with all kinds of visualization about every major action or step being taken by this government. And therefore, we should go on the. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General. There's a question about the Ghana Airways. What are we doing? What contract have we signed? I believe Honorable Kalasa wanted to add something to one of the questions earlier on. I'm not sure whether he's willing to then contribute onto that question. Honorable, what do you think?
Well, no, of course, not the Ghana Airways one. But just on top of what the Finance Minister and the GIPC boss have said about local industries, I just like to also make us understand what the present government, or Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia's government, has done for industries in Ghana, of course, which is unprecedented. In the first year of NPP, Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia government, 2017, the government introduced what we call the stimulus package to actually support viable but distressed companies that were on their knees that couldn't come up to produce anymore. The government voted money for such companies. About 96 companies were supported to come up again and start production. And today, as I speak, these companies are still working. Indeed, also for local industries, if you are registered with GIPC, every machinery and equipment you bring into the country is free of import duty, which is something that we do for local industry. And again, if this industry or this factory is, all your import duties are admitted to what we call the concessionary duty rates of 5%, of which Dr. Bawumia has promised that when he comes, he's going to even pick that 5% and throw it away, so that import duty and you, our children and our brothers and sisters, to get more work to do. So in fact, if anybody wants to know what the government is doing for local industries, it is beyond just tax amnesty and tax rebates. We are doing everything that we can as a government, as a country, to ensure that people who have already invested their monies in the country would get that reprieve and have the interest to make their monies stay in the country. We've been speaking to them. Of course, it's important that we engage them somehow. And when you speak to them, what you hear is about this dollar issues, which has diluted their capital. But listening to the minister right now, I think that from tomorrow, they are going to start laughing again. And that's what you and I want to hear and want to see. So I thank you. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you for that response. Mabre, you've done really well. I forgot to recognize three very important people. I apologize for it. I would like to recognize Ambassador Edward Boateng, former ambassador to China and former Director General of SIGA. Ambassador Fachebe, also, our own Richard Jemfi is here from the Scholarship Secretariat as the head of Diaspora Relations, and Ms. Abigail Laye, Deputy CEO of NAIP. You're welcome to UK Town Hall. Thank you very much. Maybe I don't know, we have a quick presentation to make, and so Isa, if you can come up. The Zongo community had prepared some citation to deliver to the community has prepared, I'll get back to you in a minute. The community has prepared to present citation to His Excellency, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. I think in his stead, perhaps the leader to accept the citation for His Excellency. Yeah, so His Excellency is also here, so yes, befitting His Excellency, Ghana High Commission to United Kingdom, our very own Papa Usonkoma. I think if we come up the stage, the cameras can capture it a little bit better than below. Thank you. So these are reps from our very esteemed Zongo community in the United Kingdom.
Right, Kukrudu. Yeah, so I am the Razak Abubakari, the Nasara UK Secretary. With me here are the Nasara representatives, and we are presenting this citation signed by Alhaji Amadou Sanusi, who is the Elder and Sarakin Zongo of Europe, and also Alhaji Abdul Razak, Chief Imam, Ghana Muslims Union, United Kingdom. The citation reads, citation in honor of His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, in recognition of your outstanding services and dedication to Ghana. Your profound impact and dedication reverberates throughout Ghana. Your unwavering commitment of humanity has been a beacon of inspiration, fortifying the bonds of faith and community. We are deeply honored to present this citation to you as a token of our heartfelt appreciation. Your regular visits to our community in the UK and request for special prayers for our nation are testimonies to your enduring dedication and connection with us. May your legacy of service and commitment continue to inspire future generations.
Well, on behalf of His Excellency, the Vice President, I accept this citation and hereby hand it over to the Minister of Finance and Honorable Majority Leader and Leader of Government Business in Parliament to send to His Excellency. And on behalf of His Excellency, wish to thank you so much for the honor that you've accorded him. Okay.
Thank you very much for that. Reps from our Zungu community in the United Kingdom. We're going to do the vote of thanks, so please do get ready. Yapoa Mwachenti Upia Bontana, Yama Bibi Kakana, Ode Atuano. Thank you for the reminder. I think the Honorable Finance Minister will take that question.
So if we haven't answered, it's just because we don't have the details. That is why we haven't provided the answers. So we will talk to the Minister for Transport and get the answers for the chairman of MPP UK. And if you have a platform, the answer can be shared on that platform for the benefit of all of you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Yapoa, if you have on today, remember Bibi Kakra na yede ako na fe penyifono small meeting. It was raw. At this point, I'll call on my very own Dr Hima, a women's organizer, to give us a vote of thanks, a very quick one, and then we have a closing prayer.
Thank you, Communication Director. First of all, let's all give thanks to Almighty God for making this occasion very successful. On behalf of our branch executives, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you gracing this special occasion, especially our minister in charge of Trinity Baptist Church, our Papa, Reverend Apia Ejay, for giving us such a auditorium free of charge. We are so grateful to you, Papa. Thank you so much. With your support and encouragement means a lot to us. We are truly honored to have you witness this occasion. I would like to extend our profound gratitude to Ghana High Commissioner, Papa Owusu Ankoma. Papa, for this immense contribution in making this event a success. Financial Minister, Honorable Muhammad Ahmed Anta, we are more grateful. Honorable Michael, Afenya Michael, majority. Okay. I'm so sorry. I just prompted to do vote of thanks, so forgive me if I miss any name, please. Majority Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Afenya Michael, we are grateful to have you here. Minister of Justice, Honorable Godfrey Dodame, thanks for gracing the occasion. Former CEO of MPA, Honorable Kokofu, we are more grateful to have you here. Our former Comms Director, Nana Akomea, thank you for coming to grace the occasion. My own boss, Miss Madam Shirley Che, we are grateful to have you, the CEO of Mineral Commission, Deputy CEO of Mineral Commission, Deputy CEO of NEIP, Madam Abigail Lai. We are grateful to have you. And all the protocol observed, please pardon me if I miss any name. Let us embark on this journey together, filled with hope and determination, a shared vision for breaking the eight, for a brighter, better Ghana. We thank you once again all for gracing this occasion. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Hima, for your vote of thanks. At this point, we have a closing prayer by Imam Abdul Razak. Shall we please be on our feet for the closing prayer?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. We thank Allah for this successful gathering, and may Allah bless us all. May Allah show us another time. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. Pacho, DJ Mayen, yana assassin binasi yadipi. Obi ejane bag ewa ha pacho, so I may so bag. Any glasses? So please look around for a bag and a glasses. Come and find me, and I'll give it to you. So thank you very much. Congratulations to everybody for just fantastic hanging around to the end of the program. God bless you all.
Us this auditorium and also staying behind because of this event. Pastor, God bless you, and may you continue to grow younger and younger. As I said, I first met you probably about 20 years ago, but it seems as if as the years go by, you grow younger. May God continue to bless you. And compatriots, we are here as one people, with one common destiny, with one common future. I see a bright future for Ghana. A future where Ghanaians everywhere in the world will be making great strides. And who knows, we may even have a British Prime Minister who's of Ghanaian origin. So I wish all of us well and pray that we have a fruitful engagement. Thank you so much, and God bless us.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Papa Usankama, Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Our next speaker is no other than the Chairman of YEF UK, Chairman of the Ghana-UK Diaspora Committee, who organized the 2017 and 2019 Homecoming Summit. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Lawyer Bernard Owusu.
Thank you very much, Kwaku. Your Excellency, Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, government institution heads, chief executives, captains of industry, our pastors, our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I wear many hats, as some of you will know. My role here today is that of Diaspora Affairs. So as Kwaku mentioned, I'm the chairman of the Ghana-UK Diaspora Committee. And our first role was to mobilize Ghanaians to Ghana in 2017, which we did successfully. And that event even caused my daughter to relocate to Ghana, where she still lives. In 2019, we organized the second Ghana Homecoming Summit. And again, that was a very successful event. So today I'm going to talk about facts. I think today is about Ghana. We're doing Ghana business, so everything here is going to be about Ghana business. we in the diaspora have many issues and difficulties. And what I have done over the last few days is to see where each party intends to meet our needs. As many of you will know, if you want to live in this country, you need to have a passport. Currently, there's a policy that has just been proposed by the UK government, which means that any person that lives here, if you don't have an EU passport or a British passport, but you've got either limited leave or indefinite leave, then you ought to have what they call an e-visa. What I've realized is that an e-visa picks up your ID from your passport or your biometric card, which has always got an embedded identity chip in there. So one of the problems that we face as Ghanaians now is that the UK ID app cannot read our passport because we don't have an embedded chip. And this obviously has been raised with government, and I've been informed that it's something that the government is looking at, because the Ghana card has an embedded chip, so they can replicate that with the Ghana passport. The UK border agency is also aware that Ghana passport cannot be read by its app. So these are some of the issues we have. Now, on the Ghana card, again, that's an issue that most people did not realize until, I for one, until this Easter when I went to Ghana with my wife. So we both boarded British Airways with our Ghana passports. And then when we got to Accra, she told me she can't find a Ghana passport. Obviously, if you don't have a Ghana passport and you don't have a visa, you're not going to be admitted. But thank God, I was beside myself because I didn't know what to do. I mean, the option was to go and speak to an immigration officer, and you know what will happen. You will have to pay Goro. And it's something that I don't do in my life. I totally abhor that. So whilst I was standing, my good friend at that day came to me and said, well, Bernard, do you have a Ghana card? I said, I do. My wife does. So but ask her to come out. So I begged them to go back. She wasn't allowed to go into the plane because for security reasons, once you've disembarked, you can't go back in there. She was standing there really, sad. I said, well, let's go back. So she took out her Ghana card and we were able to disembark. Clearly, that is a policy that has worked. And for me, Ghana card is one singular policy of this government that for generations is going to help Ghanaians. I don't know whether you've noticed, but when you fill your Home Office form, they ask you, do you have a Ghana card? And it's for a good reason. I don't know, but maybe very soon it's one of the identity cards that they're going to accept. We were told yesterday by the Vice President that the National Identity Agency is going to be here fairly soon to enroll all those Ghanaians who live in the diaspora who do not have a Ghana card. So again, that's a policy that I will recommend. As part of my investment portfolio, I invest in properties, and I've encouraged my boys to also do that. And they've also invested in properties. The big issue we have in Ghana is land title registration. And I see that this current candidate intends to bring in digital registration of our lands. Again, that's a policy that I will encourage. Because when you buy land, as we all know, we were just discussing a few minutes ago, where one of the prime areas in Ghana, the ownership, the freehold ownership is just 10 because of a court decision. Because normally people buy land without reference to the land registry. And even where they go to the land registry, there are difficulties, because you could have a land which is registered, but then it's sold on without any registration document, and then you have to settle the dispute in court. So again, that's a policy that I recommend, that if it's going to work, digitization of our land title will be good. We've also been promised by this candidate that if he were to win the election, all chieftaincy or royal or a traditional holders' land are going to be registered free of charge. Of course, he said you only pay for the registration when you're selling the land. Again, I think that's a good policy because not all of us can buy in prime areas. Not all of us can buy in the cantonments and Labonis and the Ridge and the Airport Hills and the Trasaco. Some will obviously buy in Kaswa and its environs or other places which are a bit far off. And if they are not sure about the investment, then of course that causes a problem. Yesterday I mentioned to the Vice President that I deal with real estate in Ghana. The current investment from the diaspora is between 300 and 500 million a year. And what's happening now is that most of us are buying off-plan. Now, when you buy off-plan in the UK, you are assured that the developer cannot run away with your money. But unfortunately, in Ghana, the developers have not put in place a security or warranty or guarantee system backed by insurance or the bank that will protect your investment. For example, every November we hold the On Point Property Expo at Pasterna, Battersea. And we know that most of the developers who come do sell. They sell millions and millions of pounds worth of properties. Now, most of these properties are sold off-plan. So my proposal to government, which I have sent to the paper, is that the government should replicate what is done in the UK, which is that when the developer starts the plan, because when you're buying off plan, all you're buying is a space. You're not buying a structure. You can't even register that interest because there's no interest. If it's 100 by 100 and it's 20 people who are buying, or even sometimes 200, because there's going to be 200 apartments, all of you are buying that 100 by 100. Clearly, if it goes bust and you were to share in the sale of the land, you would have lost your investment. But I see it as a good investment because I say my son, who is the chief executive for GRM Daily, he has invested in cantonment. My other son is also invested in Laboni. The only reason why they invested is because Daddy said they should invest. He's the most excited young man because now he has a property in Ghana where every week he gets people who are booking and he earns about $1,000 every single week from that one-bedroom apartment opposite the Australian embassy. So for us, it's an area that the government can benefit from because if we have children who are born in this country, second, third generation Ghanaians, who can look back to Ghana and invest in there, once there's security in either the off-plan or the buy-to-let property, because most of these things are sold to do Airbnb or Booking.com, because usually you have Booking.com for 2-3 nights or Airbnb for families who want to stay longer. And it's a lucrative business. So again, that's a policy that we will ask the government to look at. The other one that I always raise with government agencies, it's the duty at the ports. So my Airbnb business, for example, we're doing about $20,000 a month. And recently I said we needed to replace some of our cars for the caretakers who drive around to make sure that the guests are checked in on time, the cleaning is done, and they supervise properly. So I ordered a car from Germany. I was given one duty. So as far as we were aware, we were going to pay an X amount of money. When the car got to Ghana, because the exchange rate, the cities dropped so much or devalued so much, everything that we had budgeted for was really out of sync. And again, I see that this candidate has promised that when you buy your assets here and ship to Ghana, the duty you're going to pay is pegged to the cedi, not the dollar. So whether the dollar is going up or down, it's going sideways or reverse, you will still pay the cedi rate. So if they give you 20,000 cedis, because I don't know whether you know that, once you buy your car and you give the chassis number to the agent, he can tell you the duty. That duty will be the same when you arrive in Ghana. The other thing that encourages me is that because I have many, many small businesses clients who deal in the export business, some deal in the import business, and some of them do the cargo door to door, and a container full of spare parts. This candidate says that it is a flat rate for every container with spare parts. So the Ghana port duties are going to be pegged to the one in Togo. It will not be above, it will be the same at par or below. These are some of the policies that I will recommend to any Ghanaian who is here, because after over 3 decades of living in this country, what I realize is that what really will make our country grow is the interest that the diaspora will have in our country. A lot of us come here because we want to better our lot. And we look back to see whether we can also make investments in Ghana. And those investments can only be protected by government policy. So if you have a government policy which is working against businesses, small businesses and medium businesses, then clearly it's not a government that you want to support. What really interests most of us, it doesn't matter the political colors, is that if I put £100 in Ghana, because whatever you sell, you will reap in cities, I will get the same amount in 2 or 3 years' time. And there is security of investment. To end, this is what I will tell everybody. There are 2 major parties competing. We in this country, we know what a good government is. Now we've seen the Conservative Party suffering to even retain some of the MPs that they've got. It's because of bad government policies. We want a government that listens, a government that is proactive, a government that is business friendly, a government that believes in hard work, a government that is competent, and a government that believes in enterprise. And I, for one, when I'm looking at the policies of all the parties in the UK or in Ghana, what I look for is what will benefit me, my business partners, and my family. And that is the only thing that I can ask you to think of. So whilst you speak to your people at home, whilst you engage with your friends, interrogate the party's policies. Let's do that. We cannot vote on slogans. We can only vote based on policies. And I've told you that a singular policy that for us, that is benefit us most, now is free SHS, the Ghana card, where my wife had lost her passport, but she was able to check out because she had a Ghana card. And for the many other policies that we know the candidates are talking about, all I can do is to recommend that you read the manifestos when they come, you ask questions when they are available, and compare your situation now and what it will be in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lawyer Bernard. Take advantage of the investment opportunities in Ghana for a better future. I would like to recognize a couple of groups and a couple of important personalities in our midst before the next speaker comes up. First, I would like to acknowledge the personnel from the Ghana High Commission. So if you're here, please do give us a wave so we can see you. Thank you very much. Personnel from the Ghana High Commission UK. Thank you very much. I would also like to recognize His Royal Majesty Nana Kwesi Kwesin, President of the Ghana Union of UK. If you're here, please do give us a wave. On his way, I suppose. And also, recognition to Her Royal Majesty Na Chocho Soyo the First, President of the Ghana Congress of Ghana Unions in the UK. If Her Royal Majesty is here over there, thank you very much. Beautifully sat, seated, and dressed. Thank you very much. The next speaker follows on very well from Lawyer Bernard's investment speech. No other person than the person who leads Ghana's investment promotion. And he's been doing that for quite some time now. Ladies and gents, please help me welcome Mr. Yofi Grant to the stage.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you all. Oh, I can't feel the energy. We are Ghanaians. So it's a good afternoon. We expect to see you. It's my pleasure to be here. And indeed, a big pleasure because I've just come running through Europe, trying to elicit diaspora investments into Ghana. And I can tell you, in all my 7 years, it's probably one of the most exciting times that I've had, because I have seen the diaspora actually live up to expectation, and for once actually demonstrate the confidence that, yes, they are interested in where their country is going, and they will put their money where their mouth is. You know, the Ghana story very often is not told correctly. And many of you are here for various reasons. Some came to school, some came for economic reasons, and some for lifestyle changes, etc., etc. But I can tell you that never in our history has the country repositioned itself for positive change more than the past 7 years. Many will dispute and say all sorts of things. But in reality, if you've been there and you've watched it objectively, you will see that Ghana is a place that you should pay a lot of attention to. And very often as Ghanaians who are outside and Ghanaians, we don't pay attention to it because we left. We have a lot of foreigners paying attention to Ghana. Today, if you go anywhere and you mention Ghana, everybody's ears want to know what's happening. You go for international conferences, they want to understand what's happening in Ghana because they see Ghana as a spearhead of African emancipation, as a spearhead. And like how many years back, Ghana spearheaded African political emancipation in 1957, which led to Afro-optimism on the continent and drove many countries into independence. Today, Ghana is leading another transformation and changing the African narrative that this is a country that can make it. And everybody believes in the Ghana story. We, as Ghanaians, must believe in the Ghana story. You know, I will be brief. I said the Ghana story, when I go out to speak to investors, I always tell them the Ghana story is represented by 3 O's. And extremely well by 3 O's. But before you even go there, there's one thing I always say that Ghana is unique about, that many of us don't even know. And that is the fact that Ghana, geographically and technically, is the center of the world. Many of us don't know. Now, do you know why it's the center of the world? We are the only country that can claim to be on latitude 0 and longitude 0. So geographically, we are in the center of the world. And there must be good reason why God put us in the center of the world. I believe that makes us special in many ways. Indeed. Many ways God made us special. And that is why we've spearheaded the political emancipation of Africa. And today, we are going to economically drive the changes in Africa and change the narrative. Perhaps it hasn't occurred to many of us. Today, Africa's population is 1.4 billion. The same size when China changed, when India changed. Africa is at that size. And many people say that, well, population alone doesn't mean anything. But Africa has built this largest single tariff-free market in the world in the AFCFTA. Today, 1.4 million. By 2030, Africa's population will be 1.7 billion. It still doesn't hit people. But those who are seriously looking at global growth, they pay attention to it. Do you know why? Because by 2050, Africa's population would have grown to 2.6 billion. 1/4 of the world's population, and every 4th person will be African. But Ghana has positioned itself as a hub into the entry of the African continent. And because of that, we are seen as special. When you come to West Africa, the peace and stability of the region rests on Ghana. And everybody concedes that if Ghana makes it, the rest of the sub-region will make it. But what has happened over the past 7 years? Policy transformation. Ghana has built, and President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has engineered a policy of transformation. Why do I say that? First, he decided that our economy had to transform. Because in the previous economy where we're just exporting raw materials and resources, we've been doing that for 60, 70 years. It hasn't brought about wealth. But it is clear everywhere in the world
that when a country embarked on industrialization and they added value to their raw materials and resources, they changed the narrative. Today, the problems we are suffering under the currency is mainly because we have to import almost everything when we should be exporting almost everything. By 2016, end of 2016, food imports alone was $2 billion. And yet, 60% of our land is agricultural. Ghana is resource rich, and I'll bring you to the explanation of the 3 O's. I said the Ghana story is told by 3 O's. The 3 O's, the first one is opportunity. Opportunity. And don't take that word for granted, because I am reminded every day when I go to talk to investors that, but you come from a country that is so rich in opportunity. And that is why they are interested in it. And maybe we are here and we don't recognize it. Every year, almost every developed country does an Africa conference because they realize the importance of Africa. And almost every year, every country wants to sign a bilateral agreement with Ghana because they see Ghana as a champion of the transformation of the continent. They see Ghana as a politically stable place that believes in the rule of law and therefore is a leader on the continent. Opportunity. We are a country that has gold, diamonds, timber, bauxite, iron ore, lithium, sodium, granite, graphite, oil and gas. Name it. Rich in resources. In the past, we were just exporting these resources. President Akufo-Addo has decided that no, we can't be doing that. We now have to add value to these resources that we have so that we will have much more revenue at the end of the value chain. And it can't be business as usual. And it's also declared that we need to empower the private sector. Government cannot do all the businesses, but the private sector with initiative and drive can do the businesses. And so we are going to add value to all these raw materials and resources, including our agricultural resources and export. So I will have revenue at the higher ends of the value chain and create wealth. And I remember when I first got my job, he said one thing to me. He says, I want Ghana to be a place that is the most attractive for attracting investments, but also the best for business. But more so than anything, I want my citizens to be wealthy. We have all these opportunities. We have land. 60% of our land mass is agricultural land. We should be tilling the land. We should be producing more. And we should be adding value. And that is the new direction which we are going. And that is why the policy of the planting for food and jobs and planting for export and rural development all came about. Those are the transformative policies that I'm talking about. And very often, we just drive them away. But they have an impact. 3 years ago, Ghana transformed from a country that was dependent on import of maize to one exporting maize now. So it's changed. There are more young people going back into agriculture. That's an opportunity that we can always. So for those of you who are here, and Bernard did say it, the land is there. The opportunity is there. Never be convinced that, oh, home is too hard. Everywhere is hard. Everywhere is hard. And I can tell you, I've just come back from a road show in 4 European countries, all for the diaspora, to energize the diaspora that home is where the heart is. You come from a land that I call God's own. I believe that God lives in Ghana, and that's where we all come from. And we've got to go back and till the land. So the opportunity is there. The opportunities are there. And with support to the private sector and significant reforms, it's gradually transforming. Planting for food and jobs is one that has increased agricultural production. But the foundational policy to ensure that as we move away from exporting our raw materials to industrialization is going to work, because government, again, and President Akufo-Addo said that, look, to make this thing work and make Ghana be like almost all countries that have developed, we need to educate our people. So a policy came in, free senior high school policy, to ensure that our kids And in the medium term, the minimum education of the average Ghanaian will be high school education. Can you imagine the impact of that? When you go to countries like Korea, you go to Mauritius, name it, Costa Rica, even China, even India, the real impact of the changes they went through from third world countries to first world countries was education. Because you bring a new Ghanaian more knowledgeable, more prepared to work at higher ends of the economy. So that is important in actually exploiting the opportunity that I spoke about. Now, that wasn't all. To make sure that we made good use of our raw materials, and I did say that the important thing was converting from an economy that was built on just exporting our raw materials and resources to one of value. Once again, under President Akufo-Addo, they promoted another policy called One District, One Factory. Many do not understand the importance of the One District, One Factory policy, but it is key. If we need to change the structure of our economy, we have to move away, again, I'll emphasize, from just exporting raw materials and resources to adding value. And the One District, One Factory policy enables us to industrialize gradually. We are not at the point where we can start making machines and spacecraft, but we are at the point where we can make window sills, we can do doorknobs, we can do plugs, we can do light bulbs, we can do the very simple thing that we are all importing. We can do textiles. We can add value to our food. So the One District, One Factory policy came in. Now today, it may be one district, one factory. 5 years, it may be one district, 10 factories, 20 factories, 30 factories. And that is the opportunity that we have. So even as you are here, the opportunity awaits you. And I'll tell you something very interesting that Bernard mentioned. Do you know that at the GIPC, for the first time in our history, in the year 2022, total indigenous, when we say indigenous, Ghanaian investments that were registered exceeded 3.5 billion USD. Extremely encouraging. Do you know that the year 2022, total inward remittances to Ghana that were registered was in excess of 4.7 billion US dollars? That is more than we are even borrowing from the IMF. That is more than we got from foreign direct investments. So the impact of the diaspora can never be lost on us. It's a major important resource, both in the capital that you bring, but also the knowledge, global practices, new linkages to culture that you bring to the market. And that is why at GIPC, we've actually set up a diaspora investment desk to assist those in the diaspora. And that is why government has come up with a new bill, the Homeland Act, that is going to assist us embrace the diaspora in a more constructive way. That is why government is also doing the diaspora policy, to be able to redefine the engagement and make it more profitable for you to come home and help us build the economy. So that was the first O. The second O is openness. Openness, because now this is a government that engages. This is a government that listens and has listened. I am not sure there's ever been any time in Ghana's history that there's been such press freedom and such engagement. But we are open, and that openness has led us to be politically very stable. The fact that we engage, the fact that there is real convergence even on the religious side. When in our history have we seen a candidate who is Muslim be so embracing of Christian faith? The candidate of the MPP today is Muslim, but he goes to churches, he talks to Christians because he believes in the peace of the country. He believes that notwithstanding our religious diversity, we are one. And he's focusing on that, not dividing it. And just not about religion. He's also on the ethnic point.
emphasizing that we are one. There can be nothing more important to Ghana's future than knowing that we are one, both with religion, both with ethnicity, and the goals that we are looking for our country. And so if you have to make a decision, it can't be that difficult. We have a situation where we have a flag bearer who is all conceding, who is all embracing and bringing the nation to be one and be that one Ghana that we want. The last O, and whoever gets it right, I'll give the person a box of chocolate. The last O is we are optimistic. We are very optimistic. Many have complained that yes, Ghana, problems. I have been traveling. Everywhere I go, there are problems, even in America, even in the UK. I'm just from Europe. Even in Switzerland, there are problems. The global economy was significantly hit by the COVID pandemic. Make no mistake about it. It's still suffering under the vagaries of global conflicts. And we do not know where the future is. But we are extremely optimistic. And that optimism, despite the recent problems we have with our economy and engaging the World Bank, do you know that the first quarter of this year, our growth way exceeded the projected growth of Ghana by the IMF. In the first quarter, our growth rate was 4.7%, much more than the IMF predicted. Last year, the last quarter, our growth was 3.8%, much more than the IMF predicted, to the extent that the World Bank thinks that we will achieve growth faster than we even said. Why can't we be confident? Why can't we put our shoulders where the wheel is and even move it further on? We can. And we will. There are investors looking at Ghana keenly. I say that we should create a highway for Ghanaians to look at Ghana even faster than they are. So I think that is a message that I want to give to you. And Ghana is the gateway into Africa. It's no accident that Ghana put us in the middle of the world. When anybody asks you a question, tell them you come from the center of the earth. You do come from the center of the earth. So embrace it. Let's embrace it and look forward to a bright future. It is possible. It is very, very possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yofi Grant. Opportunity, openness, and optimistic. 3 O's for Ghana. You need to be proud to be a Ghanaian because you come from the center of the earth. Good things happen at the center of the earth. Good things happen at the center of the earth. Amen. It is possible. Thank you very much, Mr. Yofi Grant. At this point, we're going to have a short interlude, just a 1-minute musical interlude, DJ, whilst we sort out the next speaker. So, Mr. DJ, if you give us a quick interlude, we will appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Vampire boy,
Honorable walked in with the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin, is also in the house. You're welcome, Honorable Minister. We also have Honorable Akwesi Akwa, Deputy Minister of Health, who's also the MP for Oda, is in the house. We have Honorable Carlos Ahenkra, MP for Tama West, is in the house. I can see His Excellency Reyankra Resoa, Ghana's High Commission to Canada, is also in the house. I can see Honorable Dr. Kokofu in the house, former EPA boss. Good to see you. I will keep on doing the recognitions as I go along. I see also our very own CEO for Giadec, the man in charge of aluminium, Mr. Ansa, who's a former chairman of MPP UK, is also in the house. I also see Mr. Alex Daddy, a former YEF chairman and a current chairman of the KGO group. So thank you very much, ladies and gents. Thanks for that wonderful investment talk. The next speaker is no other person than my very own Wafa, MPP UK chairman, to come up and give us a short speech. Because of the time, because we want to have more question and answer sessions for our dignitaries who are here, we have to restrict the timing to about 2 minutes, Chairman. So you have 2 minutes. And we'll start the clock.
Thank you very much, Gogu. I love that. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kingsley Edumata Ejapong, of AK, MPP UK chairman. Your Excellency, the Ghana High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland, my own Pastor Kingsley, Daddy, thank you very much for accepting us today. Honorable Leader of the House, Honorable Minister of Finance, party executive, government leaders who are here, and all the members gathering here. I will make mine very brief, just to take this opportunity to thank my church, because this is my church, for giving us such a huge opportunity to showcase Ghana and also letting Ghanaians know what MPP UK government and the government in Ghana of MPP that we have supported so much have done. We have done a lot, and we don't need to be talking too much. I am just urging every single one of you here today that just listen to the good messages, not too much of the social media gimmicks. Let us watch carefully what this government have done in terms of changing and transforming our country. Great roads that has been built has reduced so many accidents that we used to hear, that when a car hit on the ground, 50 people, 60 people are gone. It has reduced for the last 6 months and 1 year. And I think it's a great achievement that we need to encourage and build upon. I wouldn't take that time anymore. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Normally, when we give you 2 minutes, we spend 5 minutes, so I was expecting a little bit more. So, unfortunately, you finished a lot quicker than I was thinking. And then Asamaba. Chairman, thank you for that speech. Thank you very much.
Whom am I? Whom am I? Ote brofo. I will say Obia Cabrofo. Eti Mediano Samia Uku say Menkachi. Eti Muma Musama Sami. Yo, His Excellency. Ane Empenifo. Mo UK ha. Ane UK executives. Meden chia stronko efri Ghana na debre mu nyina na me ba beto kwa no se eto nwom e wa ha sei na wo hwe se de Ghana fo a mo to nwom na hofe anigye ane ahokeka a osofu banyin onyankopon hira wo ne wa asore nyina yenua Yofi Grant wakasapa na brofo ye brofo na twi so ye twi Matra UK has said 27 years ago na mete Croydon ha na ma pra streets bebre wo Croydon ha say titru lower discom ene adentin pra maba be pra wa hase no me se eno nko no a chair PhD a be bebo no wo UK hase na obi a watu kwan bia no apese oye adwumaden na mre bi so a watumi akofie efri se sawude edua tu nsuo mu a entimi na ne opata na se entimi na ne fish enti sanso na emfa ho ne nkrata wo wa ha untimi na ne haseni de beye bia no wo ye Ghana ni enti se Ghana ye better ana bema wo so ho atɔ na osu watimi akofie sa obeye ketuo sa obeye kesio eye pa enunti uba ha se uba no aba be adwumaden e wa ha na odi akofie na sayade sa ye flag bearer party leader and the vice president wa ha say ya the policies are odi to akwemu no it never happened before in any world ye krom Ghana said the America say matna UK ha say no na matna Ghana so no mihuru no pefe say Ghana is changing faster than Europe. Ghana is changing. Your country, our country, my country is changing faster. Your problem I want to say from 1992 ebe there fourth republic no aye MPP NDC into obia ba mfie nwotwe a na obia no pese so aba mfie nwotwe de a ene ye wo so kɔ na party foforo mra Ghana will never develop unless we keep one political party, we let them stay in power for long before we can have the big transformation to develop our country. Mutie, yefra bibi political transition. Sir, MPP onyankopon mane masa. So wulu super. Na se NDC ba. De atiene se omu wo 2 years a. Ewo so omu de behwehwe contract eni nyuma ya ye ne ade ye nyina. Enti se wo ye MPP ni o, so wo ye NDC ni o, there is no development for 2 years because afa ne ye appointment ne ade nyina. media minima dear to say finance minister mo and honorable Afanyo Markins mo. But I can learn fast, or I learn fast. I learn fast. Unim, say yes, sir, political transition no. And my country ni na nyuma ni no stay back. Na say stay back pa a country no and your development no a delay na say suffer. It is a one to me anya one political party be amena to us one cha. Would the 2 years aye? Would the 2 years in the year now the 1 year now the year development. Another year no a year election year 4 years. A year 4 years. Na Mr. Mumuntia ni ye ahana nyansa ni nimdewo. 2024 elections is a Northern election. When I say it's a Northern election, it's a Dr. Bawumia and Dr. Mahama. So be it. It's these two people and Yakoto Maswaba. Backward the vice president and Wababedi president da. And about so aya vice president and opes will be the president. Enti aya dia na waye na dia na opesa woye. Na aya dia na andis for no more power or man ye na MPP ba ye ya babeye. This is about policies. Now who shall say John Dramani Mahama aya former president J. Kufoni Din Kakaye or see obia no wa ubetimi di Ghana so in fear 9 now dia sesa Ghana. Ana John Mahama and so betina fie no ono so beka say obia ne wa obetimi di Ghana president no the 4 years atimi ama Ghana develop it. Say dia na asia say who fear 9 pe according to your constitution we nyamra de ma Mose we kamra Ghana honorable Afanyo Markin mo atena parliament na o ma hyehyɛ ade amaye ne adi atum. And he said 4 years pe na John Mahama say oba no oba bedi a. Na ono anso so aka say obi enu ho obetimi de 4 years na ye development a. Aye den kura na de di kan no e wo so ogina. Na mesramu UK for any yenuan ma mu wa brochire de wo ye nkofo a mutumi busa question ye pa na mo adwen mo api because mo ma questions a mo bebusa mo wo fie kura no eno kura wo hwe ha untumi ansa na ne papa no aba na obebusa question ye wo UK hai enipa mienu aye ye wura Bawumia okwa ye to abane de mano o 8 years. Enti sa wakwa obetimi aba ye nua John Mahama ye to aba ne mana ontimi mabie. Enti sa wo soma omumienu so omo okọ Ghana na wo pa sa wo sika bi se so omo kwa omo nto ade bi mfamra wo yuka ha omumienu mu de hen na obesoma no be pese bi busamu omumienu ho mu de ya aya ho ya the okwa ba your friend say I didn't see and I was say you wasting your time. I was any mienu we ho. Ni yentimi make a decision. Development of our nation will not fall from heaven to earth unless somebody who has a plan. And the person who has a plan is Dr. Bawumia. Ghana is going to be interesting. Our country is going to be interesting in 2025. If you look at the policies and the plan our flag bearer is holding and sharing with us. So what shall I say? Oka say, yewra no din ka bekasa ye minua oka say. Say nyina believe say Togo ye duty free meboa. Anya sa na yaka no na menua ba no o kana brofo o say it's a benchmark. Ghana duty cannot be higher than Togo duty. Sana na no o kana brofo na emu bi there yati ase say Togo Omu duty semono aye duty free. Eti sa Ghana so ba be ye duty free a. Ye nuanom a omu wa brochire nyina no. Ade na omu hwehwe. Ade a omu hwehwe ne se ombetima ye adwumaden no ombetimi de omu sika to bibi na omu de aba fie na omu ba beton. Anya sa. Eti sa Ghana Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia se odi duty free mayen ya yempe. Yempe. Na me de me kasa ne beba wiye no. There is one policy Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the Akufo-Addo government a year next month ye de ba obi abehu. But di Akufo-Addo achiako the whole Ghana. And di Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia achiako the whole Ghana. Ghana baby ye ko ye bia do obi aka eho asem aye yakwan akwan ana obi aka ho asem na Ghana kwan no sabe anya MPP ba pawanti ana akwan no ba yo akwan no na wo hodada MPP ye problem pa yenya ebi wo ho no de ase na communication for no nkasa communication for no kasa pa they are doing well onu say ye ba no na average ne ye 10 e ba na e de ko 16 no e kire say more development and e ko ho na ya kwan sin government bia from 1957 abepem ne no government and e betimi de ne ho a compare Akufo-Addo ene Bawumia government ni nyina chi a se ufri Accra na wo kọ Kumasi a ye yi akwan fufuro na ufri Achimota na wo de kọ Pokuase ene amasamai tunsabamu no Jesus Christ Mesi wo mu wie kwan no a landing ha de mu bi agye sa America ne Canada mo ana sa kwan no mu behu bi wo ho mesi mo ba na mu behu na kwan a ye wo ye kuro mu a Sofoti East Legon Same Awukuti East Legon first no muntie ni ye na wo ko East Legon a na ye kwan ba ko pe ana na de ko se si ya me no kasa yi uba na ba be hwe overhead bia Bawumia government ye free aye sprinters ho no e de link to aye East Legon ho a obi a wo ho a na opesa okokotena East Legon ho. Ghana is changing, Ghana is developing, Ghana is changing, our country is developing, our country is changing. Now aye next month nkwano every constituency be 276 constituencies. Akufo-Addo ne Bawumia say esanse Ghana nyina no o ma complain e wo rose nti no constituency bia no ye ma one brand new grader, ye ma one brand new roller, ye ma one brand new water tanker, ye ma one brand new piloder, ye ma one brand new excavator, ye ma 2 tipper trucks no can man for ntiase anwaka ye ma anwaka mienu ye ma anwaka mienu na sa wo sa nyama we nyina no wo constituency a na ye 276 a mu hunu se sabe sa MPP for kra no se yentimi nya Ghana kwan nyina sabe Ghana kwan no bebre no ebeye mre ama yatimi afa kwan no so ama yaw no atimi asusu. So we are not perfect government, but we are good to manage Ghana economy. We are not perfect, but we are good in terms of management. MPP government, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia government is good. So, as an MPP regional chairman, I'm pleading to everybody here to call somebody, for somebody to call somebody, that 2024 December 7th elections, if we want Ghana to develop, we should vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's the future of Ghana. May God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Chairman Wuntumi. Chairman has set it off. Yeah, tree speaking, string and the tune it was Chairman, I mean, so, Ghana for the Asian, I'll see it to the tree, no, Efrafra. Yeah, I say, Chairman, people recognize the groups we are, you invite you, and there, but I call you UK Zongo community, represented by a number of their members led by Alhaji Marafa. So Alhaji Marafa, if you're here, give us a wave. Thank you very much. You're welcome to the house. Me present also, me recognize in the house, MP for Yendi, Honorable Farouk Mahama is in the house. Honorable, thank you very much. Also, Bishop Francis Sapon, General Overseer, Calvary Charismatic Baptist Church, Bishop Nyamishrao Akwaba. The next speaker, somebody I admire so much as the MPP UK Communications Director myself. Mahama people. Pages in Nana Komia is a former member of parliament, former minister, former communication director of the MPP, and now vice chairman of the Bawumia campaign team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nana Komia.
Because we don't have a lot of time, I will just go straight to my message. Chama want to me tree no MP to Saudi and Papacho. Me de befrafra. Because I'm a challenger, I'm a good many massive. Na Osha yang Ghana. Your economy ya. A free 2017 ba beto enne. Ubetimi achemu mienu. Imre na COVID emba ye no. Eye 2017 echo 2019. Na COVID emba wiase. Na Ghana economy no. Eye one of the best in the world. Kwen biaso. Oshe CD na honden a free 2017 by 2019. Oshe interest rates. Oshe GDP growth. But GDP growth, it's an economy we move trend. It was Ghana economy, GDP growth was the best in the world. 8%, 2017, 6.5, 2018, 6.2, 2019. And a COVID bar 2020. COVID bar if we are seeing more UK ha munim kwanya COVID edemo faso be bosomi miensa o se na munya prime ministers besa miensa ninya COVID amani hu a COVID de bai na COVID amani hu nso no edaso wo ho effect no edaso e wo ho Ghana nso e economy no ebe pascal COVID no bai economy are now 8%, 6.5, 6.2. 2020, a shine bar from 0.8. That's about a 70% loss or drop in the GDP. Tiabema yenka any GDP, near no GDP debt ratio. Ebema ikano kosro. And a bonifreno you called debt crisis. Because GDP any uka they say we pay uji $100 busumina udeka 40 uji £100 now deka £40 now we pay nu anhwia ba 60 and now £50 we say okano in relation to what the total we pay one okano kosro sane kobai GDP nu hwan free 6.5, 6.2 to 0.8, you know. Ema ekano ebe dozo. And you're calling to debt crisis. But then you're Ghana nkwa, say na medical can. If you are senior, Nancy na otwe me ya Paul Boatin, mo ankasa mo Paul Boatin ba Ghana. No be kan say baby ani we see ha eniema bo, particularly aduane bo ansesa. nanso obetia yesi odabi man oyeni na babeto Ghana no emfa covid ho Akufado aban na enyade inipa yo muka sanse me omukọ brochre a eno muka covid asemo eni oyeni a covid e de abre Africa but omo ba Ghana say Akufado na onyade into na Ghana economy no apaska yemfento nchen ebe mia ye ni netime ye hu afri oyeni ya covid de abai amanu pi call IMF, International Monetary Fund. Yes, and the yanko. Ya behwe ne etimi atitiri e mo remu. Ye de hyehyaya ba. Say betimi aboa na yi free. Amani hu na COVID de aba no. Yanko IMF. Inti ya de bibi hyehyaya bi ba no e-levy. Electronic levy say o ye digital payment kakra betis ubitwes kakra. Na Shisha ye no say kose nanka ye penwa kanenku ehu hia se nkebe ko IMF na so shisha na nkobase na ye penodo parliament for yenwan bi se omo mpini ma ebetwen ya na situation so ye worse ti eventually aban dia kokudro kan se ese ko IMF edro na enyu na so fa na be ma ho atowa better so be fa na sanso ubewu nti e ko IMF kakra economy no free amani hu na ye call covid mo no na muareshe mu se yetimi etoa so se na chama wontumi kan ya enche bia be free oye nemokra say na finance minister wa have obeka ne ho asem nipa na ede omoka ya yen hwehwe ma say eka no nya eba bia ebetimi ama oma na konenim se na ohwe twem ya omni creditors nya ba into agreement ti no free ho no enche bia sika ese ye release na ba omanum ye be release fata start po se eba ti projects ya chama won't me kan akese nya ye block sika no because of yenka na ekosro no o de compare your economy no say she na finance minister ni creditor nations including UK akomunti no says Kenya ba be release this our project in ya ba be hu na nche bia nso no credit na emba Ghana no e be sha say eba na ye ba be ye elections December ya yenya yenim senator ma won't me kan ye no enipa mi nu titru John Mahama ene Mahmoud Bawumia. Why na yemfa 2 minu enhye nsem. Na asra meba no sokra. Oyene ye chi COVID echire ni oyene ene omani hu ede abre Ghana economy no. Eni wiase nya no. Nima bi wo ho a yetimi mia ye ni aye o Ghana. Wo hwe free SHS a. Ebi nsi da wo man no. Yade ba yenwa no besi yentimi mfem ba Kwame Nkrumah kra ntimi amfam ba nanso yade ba emenne Ghana nkola omonya secondary school free anka omonya sa akwenya no ebro 600,000 e free 2017 betonne ask sa nkola no se nkenye free SHS a ko ntimi nko secondary school na ehun susu anso no yenya ehun ye enche bia ebehu ehun susu anso Ghana kola bia yebe wonu obenya free SHS u free no achi a sa digitalization se no na chama wontumi gina so o ka se ye nema esesa o Ghana kra Europe ha na bi wo ha na ndu ho sa digitalization ye dey bay be ma o manu konkan akonenim pa ena ye Ghana card no chese obia wo Ghana wo one identity emsa ha de munim sa de na obia wo na identity card but yen de no na yesrunku wo mu ni se a digital identity the digital identity chese obi bia wo so wani kosia wonsa ninya wo so men na ukuta sa Ghana card na wo free Abrochire ha na oba Ghana na hu passport a obetimi de Ghana card no aba. Na se wo sa identity no. Eyade a udwen hu se ana de yatena ho na ye ni sa identity. Because so call amanoni amohanum say no ma sa identity ni wo ho. Obedwen hu sa ntina Ghana ye ni sa identity. Nse na ye de aba nipa 17 million. Eni amo mo Ghana ka obi ekuta ni identity digital identity. Na sa card no enche bia ebeye the basis of total transformation in the Ghana. Ujina no so mene upese uto electricity a sana hamoye no ya wote odem uboki mienu miensa bi wo phone so a what electricity answer na no ba no person to electricity a utu car na unantiko obi ono aye ni store ton electricity ukono apon a ohu achew ana sensu to a ohu achew but then no digital ejuma na ye dey ba before ejuma ye dey ba Ghana to feel between at electricity person utwa water bill to feel between water bill o person high bus person ye den to feel betimi aye esansa digital ejuma ya ababedimu ewo Ghana your friend interoperability o person diska koma o ma mi wo eyi ufo abrochia person diska koma ma mi obetimi ehun ya so be call Western Union obetimi abonu straight na call ma mi ho call ni phone so first no who MTN now they call Vodafone enye interoperability here they abey enunti no ehun hia say Vodafone and I say and then from Telecel and also they call MTN ni nya ebeko na yen de no kra de nya network to network pe yeah de no utimi eye interoperability no between bank accounts ntu betimi yi sika free bank account to their to momo now they are sending obi and I betimi yes get you momo mu their to bank account mu Africa ha been see Europe ha kra no enye bebia na biasi say ubetimi a move sika between your bank accounts. And then you will be Ghana. Na upeso ya usisan auto a health insurance. First no nam nkran be na ya block lolly kwan bi. E wa ko na health insurance office wo ho. Na nipa ne ba be to health insurance on ba be renew. Na ne o ma dump him na lolly kwan ya block. And now person to health insurance utu fee waiting to health insurance. Your networking hospitals in here, all the teaching hospitals and the regional hospitals and the district hospitals, your network. It's a no record. If we Tamale teaching hospital near refer about comfort notchia. Ubeko comfort notchia no record. You do Ghana card your boy will number the record in here. Your networking in here, your networking pharmacies. Into uko phone so now boy pharmacy say wo area ho nyan ebeba na edro na wo hwehwe no bogumu a ebe chere pharmacies a e was an drone in the bo na wo ring you ma obetimi atwia digital out till them and there was a friend drone delivery him say third world country nye bebia na kwan ye ya set up drone centers drone here abe for a small aeroplanes here to here ama no o ekrabia sina sebi owo akaw na yare bi aba na ohia moja o frɛ drone center na o be deliver a drone say snake serum owo a drone na say moja e be deliver drone e dey abeto baby awo ho na Ghana drone delivery service no the whole world and the largest to Africa. I know so custom. Even though COVID ababe higher no and maybe we higher koyenim. Na say am dey kan yababe election December ya nipanu emienu John Mahama Bawumia see it me back. John Mahama, also what BB be friend 24-hour economy. Ubisa more. It depends on now ubisa na semano. So there be a bar between at on watch after 6 p.m. Kuya between a Juma 24 hours. My name is the street light back kwa numa na wait me at akodo banchi anajo 8 o'clock. Just say when ya na say they bidum see the matisi ya njata na kenka. But media nankrofu eken John Mahama. Yes, you'll be a waye bidano. Any Antoine so. Obedi o man so 2012. Or the BB friend no private sector development strategy. I know say about the pager Ghana economy do. Na juma krankre juma adimu na pager economy juma piaba. Omo launch in 2011 say omba be 2015. And yema a normal Kenya for 24-hour economy no. Ninya was our private sector development strategy. Omunya Kenya obey president. No de buy a dum so. Inti and then no bit some bit now I can't the same things and me the way beba me the way beba me the way beba. Ninya no Kenya na was our strategy no. Anya juma. Na kwatre kwa. Oso be ma untuma na so tie anything. Na Dr Bawumia no ne John Mahama na pre. Or say 2025 and yet 2016 near Massisan. Just say I didn't share for eba. The niso ade hu ni say near friend macro economy. Sidi na ho odin and near ma bo or the adwin for eba. Ba kuni ni say you too good here waya memu ha. Gold in so den esika. Esika. And ye too sika. And nuntino ye the gold no ye be talk no more na ye de abaki yen sika no sidi no. UK ha muti. Pound no ho den no pi no gina gold na ewo Bank of England. More about 4,000 tons of gold. And until now, Euro bar was more than multiple pound because moon on Gina so CB. Ghana no, yen ye to gold. UK have moon to gold. And so yen gold no, you were 8 tons per. UK have more over 4,000. Bawumia say ye be 2 yen gold no. Near refining to the London bullion standard. So ne buy ye bit me. E dia back e dia so ye sika no e be boa e ma ye sika no e gina na ne obni se yedim se sika de dollar musu musika yi pound sterling ye e say dollar na and tie no convertible between the atade wa broche between the atade wa manone and now be bia because between the pound and atade untimi fa seed in atade but between the gold in so atade into a gold that sidi na sia. Se sidi no hon chere no a the gold no be support sidi no. O de share ba na be mas yenya sa akwenya no. And then oil ya yetoi o the dollar into the sidi no asesa into dollar na de akoto oil petrol. Ya de bibia by friend no gold for oil. Ti the sidi no eto gold. Yeah, the gold not to oil because it means fast seed no to oil. But between the seed no, between the gold at oil, near the seed no to gold. In effect, seed no aye convertible kakra. Because gold near the seed and to Ghana, $5 neto. In effect, yeah the seed no eto, and also a boa ama seed no enya ho den kakra. Now ba obehye sa adwumanum kena. Afei yen sika ahode no so gina government no your friend no fiscal policy. The finance minister has a castle better as here, but Say pay 100 cedis. Now busumi sika udi 150 cedis. Just over deficit of 50 cedis. To the car. And untinu or den share bar. Sika ya dibe budget. And tra 5% of the previous year's tax revenue. Sene beya. Yen spendi sikano in a way a be affect sidino a hoarding. Or den share eba. Afe, and yama pia a buying a year. Na mi nwa wuntu mi kan road see. Road see do na ye besia. Besia so kobo abetria. When tria we see the na hoarding beko. Na Bawumia say ene mani bi wo ho a eye commercially viable che say wo de ma obi no ya obenya ho mfaso nti sa ne mani nya no be ye free aban budget mu fa no say Accra Kumasi ye nya enim se na quality nke nya no 6 lane a nke epe and if you are in Kumasi 242 kilometers obedi don hwiri num 5 hours because a kwani a single lane but sa kwan no Kenya no 6 lane and Kenya it's a buying scam but who the map private sector beer because a commercially viable just a cars na faso who the map private sector be no share cars na faso no the toll better so e bia 10 years betenika ye wo ankrankra juma private sector banks num omujuma no nti o de sa o de share ba be ma private sector ba na kwan to say Accra Kumasi, Accra Takrady, Accra Flower, cars no faso. It be my private sector, mama ye. Ne ya tolu. So na mo ye o UK. Na no free a buying budget mu. No sound the tax reform eba. Ghana haya itria tax, direct tax. Ye do 4 million. Normal can ye ni more. The friend in informal sector. It's a Ghana card in Yankopon Chadia. 17 million nipana omkuta Ghana card. Ama omwa omuni omunchia to direct ya timia show monso because of the Ghana card. Inti nipa be said 13 to 12 million entry direct tax. They say because of Ghana card, you may be omunyawo. Tino ani say ayen shishe na almost habitual to kakra. Obi o feel we be plumbing, we be painting. Obi try no 300 cedis, 400 cedis. Your friend informal on tria, but in a Ghana card into ye nimuno. Ndi odin share e ba flat rate. Nye bibi afina ko fill forms be 10 pages. There be flat rate. We a plumber. If I say 100 cedis, bosome. We electrician. 100 cedis bosome. We a painter, 100 cedis bosome. Ubeti me try our phone so. Na wenya we receipt our phone so. Na ukoto bibi to say electricity. Ana insuo na untria sa atu na untimi. Se na be obia we have so we a plumber, we electrician, we a den unso be try 100 cedis. You say I come in 2 minutes. Enti sa shisheye or de bay na fe export drive ne me bi wo ha ehun ni faso se e bekra chicken emo but in needy national drive Bawumia say about the power of the presidency bet tie say juma yiso na yetimi develop chicken industry, rice industry, na san menemenya ehun ya say $1 eba beto. Na esan say mo 2 minutes ma mentwa so. Into the Bawumia ni Mahama eto senior so a. Say Bawumia kan kufa do ho. Na economy na say and omu ye dre and corruption and family and friends. Sa suboy the boy aban ya. Nyam kopon chade. Mahama de ono so be di president. Sa suboy the boy akufado aban ya. Usha John Mahama Banya. Sa family and friends, John Mahama Bresso, and Asaka no Bagana. No, the Bagana, Sam Ren, a friend of Bagbin, and no speaker. A ban of corruption, John Mahama Bank, or America, met Chairman Miensa and 9 beam who be dream. I confirm, Kotam Ghana for 9 million, de money per bag, so I confirm. Yeah, who maybe I confirm. Yes, I'm to Burkina Faso. Ufri wa the same Nipana Santam 18 million, so often quiet or not. And it's be any and in a can't count. It's a ban of corruption, a ban of economy. Joma Modianko IMF, and I'm a ban of don't see the impunity, Dre. Then go no catch as a woundy president, don't mean can was it. Dre Ben is a chance. Inti Subobia on the Babo Akufado between the Abo Mahama. It is a pet alternative intimi and yet John Mahama. Because your man queen yanida. Ono crowd and yamin chade on yam fear 95. President Biama Ghana, the first step on yam fear 95. Mahama don't queen yam fear 95. Now so Nejumano, and so Ghana for any. Nuntino Yakoya election, Ghana for 2 Nabaino, Eguye. The only sitting president in the 4th Republic, Yamano, second term. Rawlings, second term. Kufuor, second term. Akufo-Addo, second term. Mahama Nkwana. Into Nejumano, Ghana for who Nejumano, and so many. Bawumia Mojamono, Adrian Foforo. Inti, Sesi pe alternative. Na weti mi edi Adrian Foforo Abba. Edi atuaso, edi abibi fufura, entimi enye Mahama. Because on nisanon yehunda. Na sere bdi kan no. Aye bida. Ene tuano so. Nye obia ye ma wa kwenya no. Odi enko ditch. Enti banyansa fo yesi yetu mu be yenka mu asem. Timide masen ba bewie ene. Na eche ne kwenya ba ye besen di nkomo. Eda masipa.
Thank you very much, Nanakomia, for that inspirational speech. Say, I can't say Ghana or IMF, you will not know, say, or IMF. The Indian America, sir, Jumanini be anywhere, matter say a permanent view, Juman. Compared to Tama, now NDC for IMF. Any more cancellations are, yeah, cancel here. Say, I can't you will never know, because the Jumanu Guzu Koso, maybe a Koso Kama, public sector workers, you Triomoka. When you increase crab administration, into bold solutions for the future, you to be found compare any of JM's policies. Thank you very much for that, Nana Komia. My next speaker, I think, has gone AWOL. Oh, yes, he's around. Apologies for that. He's here. So my next speaker is no other person than the Director General of the National Lotteries Authority, and the PC parliamentary candidate for Kwapim North, former MPP youth organizer, former MPP organizer, my brother Samuel Uku.
Thank you. Now, you didn't add that former deputy communications director to the very venerable Nana Komia. My boss any day. Excellency, Majority Leader, Minister for Finance,